And they never made it because it was 2D. It's like, ugh, 2D games. Ew, no one wants
All
to
right,
play
live
2D
starting.
games. It's starting.
Speaking of alcoholism, I was actually looking at that gallon flask that they were drinking on Red Letter
The
Media.
giant one is like
Yeah,
a,
I
wasn't
was
that what
looking at it like an hour before I watched that episode.
it was like?
I can't
What Norm
fucking.
Macdonald said. It's like a joke from the Dean Martin show where he pulls out the gigantic wine glass that's like as big as his torso. It's like this is a fucking wine glass in Russia, something like that.
Okay,
Well,
I can't
the joke was set up better
fucking.
than what I just watched it as, but
I
yeah, I
cannot
I can
want.
imagine him.
fucking. It's not working again. I don't know what. Okay, the fucking front end is Control Tab.
So the show's not on, or what?
The
Hold on a
show
second.
is on, but the
Oh, it is
game
on.
is
It's on.
not. The game is not working. I will not be able to play this game
Will not
because
be
I
joining
can't
us
bring
in
up the menu. I
the
can't even
sun.
hit escape. I'm hitting escape right now. It's not doing anything.
I see. Well, I see the game running. If it's just like all your shit is just flying in a circle around your warp hub thingy.
Yeah, I can't do anything.
Oh, that's fucked. You might want to
But
start
here,
the show.
Control Tab brings up the front end.
Oh, you're firing. You were just firing for a second.
That's the only thing I can do. I can't bring up the menu, and I cannot hit escape. As the escape key will not bring up anything, and without that, I can't even check my key bindings.
Ew,
I
there's
cannot check my
air.
key bindings. I cannot bring up the front end. I can't do anything other than I can't even move. I can't even move the
I
ship.
noticed that you
You
can't.
notice the ship's not moving. That's because I can't move it.
Well, so the other ships are floating around you protectively. You have a lot
But
of
I can't
drones
go
flying.
I can't go anywhere because I can't warp.
Yeah, I
I
noticed. You
can't
should
open
just.
escape.
You should try and just play some other game or something.
I'm gonna have to. I don't know why this isn't working though. There's no reason for this not to be
Well,
working.
just
It
fucking,
was
just shut off.
just
Just fucking hit stop
working
on the stream
a
for now
second
and
ago.
start up some other game.
The games that I could always play and stream, and I was hoping to actually get it with like a good frame rate for once.
For some reason, I'm still seeing the fucking spaz stream.
It just went live.
Oh, that's probably why. Oh, there we go. Miggles fought multiple Migs.
Multiple niggles.
I can smell your cunt. The video game. Also known as the fucking Adventures of the Medic from the Helicopter. The video game.
So glad we spoiled it.
Yes,
Just fucking ruined that
it's really
for
the
everyone.
dumbest plot twist I think I've ever seen. Not even worse than 2, 3, 4, just
Yes.
any of that shit.
Whether secretly.
There's something
computer programs.
Kojima really hates something about the idea that people want to play a snake. He really hates that people
It's like
want
he
to play
wants
a
to
snake.
sabotage
His
the
dumb
thing.
games.
I don't know.
I think he just wants to troll people. I think that's all it is.
Yeah, there's that.
Some
Well, I
nice
think
control.
he gets that from American movie makers, where like,
better, superior American movie developers.
well, I wouldn't even say necessarily superior, but just Americans in
Right.
general.
I mean, he's probably upset that. I'm sure he's upset that he's like constantly getting put back on Metal Gear, despite I'm sure the dump trucks full of money that they give him.
That they're shitting out onto him. But the
But,
thing is
like,
that he's been doing this since
successful is
2.
Boktai or Zone of the Enders? You know, I don't know.
I wanted to like Zone of the Enders, and it wasn't that bad of a game, but it was like not as good.
Zone of Enders or Zone of the Enders?
Or yeah, whatever, Zone of Enders. Whatever it was like it wasn't even as good as MGS2. Although it had like some replayability and shit.
I barely
but it was
remember that,
like,
but yeah, he used to create all kinds of games. And
yeah.
then after Zone of Enders, all he did was Metal Gear Solid games.
Well, didn't he do that one GBA game about the sun?
Yeah, Boktai.
Yeah, that's right.
And then there was a follow up to that, but I don't know how well those did. I don't think they
Choi.
did super awesome.
Bok Choy, which is the name of my
Choi.
orc OC DNS. Hold on a second.
It's a great orc name. It's the best orc name ever. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to talk about, what, Super or Guardians of the Galaxy?
You're
'cause we watched
replaying
them
this again? You're replaying this with a chick?
Yeah.
Benedict Cazorari. Benedict. So it's gonna be fucking quiet. It's gonna be rescuing Chick Squad here.
Yeah, she's gonna be laying on top of him, doing mouth to mouth with Chick Squad. No, it'll fucking actually replace the fucking.
It's fucking, and also starring Ocelot as Snake's dad, and also Big Boss
What?
dies. Big Boss dies, and starring Hideo Kojima as Metal Gear Hank.
It's a huge spoiler, but not as big as a
That's the worst way
spoiler
to learn
that
this.
Big Boss is actually
Yeah, the worst
the.
spoiler. It's like it's really when I found that out in the middle of a stream, it was like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard for a plot twist. It's the most unnecessary plot twist.
That's the most Kojima plot twist. It's
Yes,
like beyond Kojima. He went full Kojima.
yes, he
You'd
went
never go
full
full Kojima.
Yui Kojima Bowl. Fucking just what was the other? Oh yeah, the other comparison, which was just pure genius, was to Michael Bay, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Who made that comparison? Oh yeah, I did.
It's an apt,
Genius,
so apt.
genius, pure genius. Couldn't save this game. This is how much pure cocaine you would need to enjoy this game's story.
Do we want to watch a cutscene where fucking this is a huge spoiler, but
You
quiet,
played this already. You
quiet.
played this in a previous
Well, I'm just
podcast.
going after tasks because
Oh,
it's kind of like GTA 5. The
is
missions
this where
all
she
have
fucking gets drowned and raped?
yes.
Yes, which is totally hot.
He
So for
spreads her
sure hot.
legs and then chokes her out in a tub of water.
Which is totally, but it's just like, yeah, there she is. Oh no, they've been raping her for days and days. Oh, and she can't. She's like, oh no, I can't barely walk because of the suit and all the fucking anal ripping that's been happening. I'm actually
Um,
watching. I shouldn't be watching this because I don't want to kind of fuck with the pot. He throws down his gun, even though he could just shoot her in both legs and the ass, both ass cheeks, before raping her, which is what he's doing now. Yeah, take that rape, you fucking, you non-talking whore.
oh no, her tits came out of her shirt.
Her tits are showing. What a shame. What a shame.
Wonder how long before Studio Foe puts out.
Oh, fucking hopefully at 1 second. 1 second. I will kill you in 1 fucking second. That was a Ray and Pete reference. She's dead. She's now time to rape. Now time to introduce Rape Bot 9000 to the Metal Gear Solid universe.
Did
Which,
her pants come out? Oh, that's right. There's an unzipping sound.
yeah, and her
I
pants,
think he took
are
her pants
down
off.
at this part.
I
Yeah,
think
she's
he
not wearing
took
pants.
her pants off. Yeah, and then she just turns into a Mary Sue. Whatever. The point is, I
She
have to
turns
Fulton
into-
extract.
Her cunt. Oh,
I have to Fulton extract 7 tanks
Hymen,
and
is it?
7 APCs.
you have to fucking Fulton extract her hymen because that's gone. That's destroyed. I always like this about the about Peace Walker, which I played again recently, like last week, which is that you can play as just anyone in any of the missions. So you can just go in as just Trick Squad, as we call them. Oh fuck! Why did I close this? I need to fucking repaste this dumbass shit. But yeah, you could just go in as anyone that you hire and do missions, and it's like you can do that in Miggles 5 now, which is kind of great. And a lot of shit about this dumb, stupid ass game looks really fucking fun and entertaining. Isn't quietable at least a tolerable woman due to her keeping the shut the fuck up, fuck the shut up or something. Yes,
Fuck the shut up.
but she talks, and especially in this mission, she talks quite a lot.
It's hard to get her not to talk.
Can't shut her up.
But it's supposed to be very tragic and beautiful.
Yes,
It's the most tragic and beautiful thing I've ever heard of.
until her cunt hole is open. Her hole is open. Hole.
Fuck.
So what's going on now? Are you shooting through it? You have to.
Apparently, they can see through my fucking stealth camo. I don't know how.
Oh, just like that was another thing. I just learned, and I don't know why I just learned this. in MGS4, which I replayed again like a few days ago, and I was like, "Oh, MGS4, I'm playing again." And I was like, "You know what? I never did an MGS4. I never got the stealth camo and the bandana." I started up again, and I had the stealth camo and bandana, and I just completely forgot. So I start playing with it, and all the enemies in Acts 4 and 5 can just see through the stealth camo, making it completely useless. So,
That's
which is, yeah, it's annoying, and it's fucking like in MGS2, it was fun to just run right up to a guard's face, punch him once, and then pull him in chokehold and snap his neck, or like hold him up while he's looking at you and that kind of shit. It was fun. But in MGS4, you can't do that anymore. In fact, there's only the first two acts you can hold up enemies, and really, you can't do that for the majority of the first act because there are no enemies to hold up, except for a couple. Which is really dumb. Game's dumb, game's bad, and send them to hell. But yeah, so MGS4 is like, I would say that's the worst in the entire series, and I think we went over this in the last game, or last podcast, which is like a game to us. Life is a game to us. A troll game.
it's the only game in town.
Yes. Running this troll game, Nyutgas. Okay, yeah, so I posted the thing on Shitty Webcomics blog, which is like, it's shit. But, oh, fuck, yeah, I'm getting dranked again already. My brother's the only one who's sober in this show, but...
No, I'm alright. I already got fucking beer.
Whoa!
But
Yeah,
I
so...
mean, all I can think of is... See, if I was playing...
Rape Quiet, that's all I can think of.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if I was playing fucking Spaz, I'd be able to focus on the podcast. Right now, all I can think of is, why are they seeing through my cloak? How do I prevent them from seeing through my cloak?
You know, a good game where they can't see through the cloak is Crisis. Boy, that was a good game.
I could play that, but I don't have it installed.
Crisis 2 is also...
You know, I actually installed Crisis 1 to beat it all over again. It's like, yeah, I'm going to beat this, and I'm going to record it, and I'm going to beat Crisis Warhead and record that too, and upload it, and I did all that, but it was so... I don't even remember what went wrong, but it literally would not run for any reason, and not because... of a low frame rate. I easily beat the minimum specs and the recommended specs.
I watched you fucking upload those videos, didn't I?
Yeah. It just simply wouldn't run. Literally would not run the game. And it was like, what is going on? So I had to go and look it up on the fucking internet. A bunch of other people are having the same problem. It's because the game's not compatible with anything after Windows XP. So because I have Windows 7... the one version after XP, I can't fucking run it.
You know what this wouldn't be a problem on is fucking Steam Machine. If people just made games for the Steam OS.
It'll have to run on Linux.
Yeah, but if you made games for the Steam OS, it would work on every other version of Windows, probably.
Yeah, they just need to stop making games for Windows.
Yeah, just stop making games for Windows. Stop with that dumb bullshit. Holy fuck, I have 473 games that I own on Steam. And here's just a list. Dead Pixels, Dead Rising 2, Dead Space 2, Dead Core, Deadlight, Deadly Prophets, Deathmatch Classic, DEFCON. Remember DEFCON? Defense Grid, The Awakening, Demigod, Deus Ex Game of the Year, so Deus Ex 1, Deus Ex 3, Deus Ex 3 Director's Cut, Deus Ex 3 The Missing Link, which was their sort of DLC. Here's Deus Ex Invisible War, which is Deus Ex 2, Dishonored, also known as the Disco Nerds, DLC Quest, which is a game where you fucking get to DLC to progress, Dominique Pamplemousse, Doom 3 BFG Edition, Dota 2, Dota 2 Test, Double Action Boogaloo, which is a free-to-play game, Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition, which I bought 7/12/2012, and I played 2 minutes of it and uninstalled. Dungeon Defenders, which I bought 6/9/2015, and I will never play. Dust Force, which I card farmed for cards, and I'm never going to play it. The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, 155 hours. Evil Genius, which I bought in 2012, and I'm never going to actually play because I hear that has problems running on the latest version of whatever the fuck. The Expendabros, which was free to play, and I just fucking downloaded it. Fear 1, Fear Extraction Point, Fear Perseus Mandate, Fear 2 Project Origin,
What the hell
Fear
is fucking
3.
Extraction Point?
That's just another fucking DLC for Fear 1. But Fear 3, it says we only played that for 4 hours. We beat that game in 4 fucking hours. We cooped that just on our own, like a fucking last month. And this is just fucking. I just went from D to F. And it just. Here's scroll, 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 just all the way. Here's fucking 5 XCOM games, and that doesn't even include the new one. Fucking. Here's You Don't Know Jack. The fucking You Don't Know Jack game. Zombie Kill of the Week Reborn is the last one in my life. Just all these games. All these fucking games. This is as many games as they ever released on the fucking Super Nintendo. And I own them all on Steam. I will probably never play half of them. And they're just all games. Just fucking games out the ass. And I bought them for like cents. And it's just like, if I had even the tiniest bit of access to anything like this when I was 12 years old, I would have fucking killed all of my parents and friends and family and just lived at home with fucking killed the people in the city who were responsible for the electricity bill so I could just fucking live off the electricity and just fucking play video games for the rest of my life. These games would last me for the rest of my life. Every one of these games that I own would last me until the day I die, and I'm not even going to play even a quarter of them. It's incredible. I wish I had access to this kind of
And then
shit.
there are people who are like, I don't like Steam.
Ugh, yeah, exactly. Ugh, Steam is DRM. Ugh, that kind of that shit. It's just fucking horrific.
I used to have problems with Steam update taking way too long when I start up my computer. That's about my main beef with it.
Yeah, Steam. When I start up Steam, like, what Windows 8 makes Steam like check its latest update for because some bug from last time I installed Windows 8 because of some other fuck up.
That's a problem with Windows.
Yeah, that's a problem with Windows, but yeah, Steam starts it takes a while to start up, but I have it start up with the Windows startup because I know when I start up my computer, I want to make sure that Steam is keeping everything up to date. So I don't give a shit. I'll go walk away from the computer, eat breakfast or some shit, but yeah, that's the downside, but
It's just
aside
a
from
thing.
that,
It's not like a deal breaker or anything.
yeah, it's just like a thing that's there. It's part of I consider it part of my computer now. Like video games are part of your computer. I used to not even consider video games to be part of the computer. I considered video games to be some weird fucking like computer based process that would like be like if I was lucky I could get fucking Half-Life to work or something. Or I remember being on a computer where StarCraft didn't actually function properly because my computer was an Evergreen 133 processor, which is not the same as a Pentium 133. I had to learn that the fucking hard way, which was really fucking depressing. And so I couldn't play StarCraft. It was like one frame every 5 seconds, which is fucking beyond, not beyond, below a fucking slideshow.
Could not hand all the voxels.
Yeah, exactly.
The original StarCraft voxels? I can't even remember.
I think it was sprites. It was just
Yeah,
fucking.
it's 100% sprites.
Yeah, just fucking sad, and we painted the outside of the entire house in order for Mom to get us a fucking computer. Even though the even though
She still complained that we weren't doing good enough job.
she was taking $400 a month from you, every single month for like 10 straight years, and she made us fucking paint the entire outside of the house just to get us like a fucking $300 upgrade, and it took us months. I didn't want to do
And
it.
we had nothing else to live for at this point. It was like
Yes, we actually didn't have friends. We didn't have interactions with other people, except for the one non-white friend who we knew who fucking introduced us to smoking weed. So mom didn't like him, even though he introduced us to smoking weed, which is probably a good thing. You know, that's kind of a necessary thing for teenagers. Or,
It
you know,
builds character.
yes, exactly. It's also very character building to quit, to have
Mm.
to fucking quit smoking weed. But hopefully by force, hopefully like by biological force, which is how we had to do it. Because I think otherwise we would still probably be potheads. But but yeah, I'm like allergic to it. So like if I smoked, I'd probably have a heart attack or something
Mm.
like that. Because that's what happened last time I fucking actually smoked weed.
Hmm. I was basically I had I don't know if I call it a headache. I'm even afraid to even think
It
of the
wasn't a headache.
ideas.
It was, I remember
Drinking
what it
with
I'm
was.
just terrified to think of what could happen. I don't even want to fucking say the word. But basically, it was like about to kill me just from stress alone.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We were smoking it to get away from the stress, and then it ended up like chemically causing stress, and that was a few fucking pretty
But I
huge
mean, it
glasses moment.
it was like kind of on top of just the shitty situation, shitty physical situation. It wasn't just that we're living with basically a child rapist piece of shit murderer.
Well, not real literally, of course, metaphorically.
Sounds like you might
Metaphorically,
have gotten some that was cut with PCP.
That's what
that's
I thought it
exactly what
was.
I thought, and
That's what I thought it
that's
was.
for all I know, it was because there's no quality control when it
Yeah,
comes to this kind of thing.
except that other people who'd smoke it had no problems, and
I didn't know anyone else who smoked the same stuff I got, so
mhm.
I couldn't judge it. I couldn't test it.
But we tried it, and we started to have the same effects again, and we're like, nope, fuck this shit. So yeah, we couldn't do it. Mm. But yeah, that's sort of like I consider our entire teenage years like one long rape, where I've kind of blocked it out of my memory.
Yeah, I can barely remember any of that. Partly because of the weed, but also partly because there's just nothing. There was nothing to remember.
Mm. Yeah, life didn't start until the internet for me.
And that's exactly it. Is life started for me once we got a computer, because before then we were console fags.
We've barely even. I hated the fucking N64, and we played nothing but N64.
That's
Didn't
what I
play
remember
64.
spending most of my time doing was, oh, here's a game I fucking hate. Now I have to play it 12 hours a day, every single day for the next year.
Again, that's something that Steam would have cured if it existed back
Exactly.
then.
Exactly. Up until that point, all I had was video games. All I could do, because you can't rent PC games.
Yeah, I
There's
remember
no rental
feeling
system for that.
like a depressed, enraged fury at playing Turok, and being like furious that Acclaim demanded I draw some kind of fun from this half-made, unfinished piece of shit game. But I played it for like hundreds of hours because there was nothing else. And eventually we just sold our N64 bitterly, and we did not miss it, and we fucking moved on to the
That's the thing, is
PlayStation.
a lot of people now are like, and we would have collected this shit. I think our Super Nintendo still exists in like one of our sisters' fucking
They probably got rid
closets.
of it, but yeah, I don't
Probably,
even know.
but a lot of people would probably pay hundreds of dollars for that shit now.
I remember we sold our Chrono Trigger cartridge for like $40.
Yeah, we were like, hey, we heard there's a huge demand for Chrono Trigger now, and we already had it on Z-SNES
Yeah,
anyway.
it was like 98, 99, and Chrono Cross. Whenever Chrono Cross came out, the demand for the Chrono Trigger cartridges suddenly flew right the fuck up. And
There's
there
a
was,
whole subculture of retro
yeah, the
gaming.
retro gaming subculture. It kind of makes me wish that we had some of the old carts still.
So we could sell them.
Like I told you this, but like I had sold my copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga for like 400. like here a few days ago.
I'm jelly. I'm jelly
It-
about that
It's
shit.
really nice, really nice. Made getting Fallout 4 a lot easier.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Fuck it.
who needs Panzer Dragoon Saga?
Well, that's what I figure. I mean,
That was
it
a
was
cool game
great. I
though.
love that game. It's
Was
one of
that
my
for the
favorite
Saturn?
RPGs of all time, but I'm
Yeah,
never
for
going to play
was
it
that
again.
was that the Saturn one? Because I remember we
That's the
rented a
Saturn.
Saturn. I remember that. I think it was Panzer Dragoon 2 actually, where it starts off on the ground and you're fighting tanks and shit.
I love
Yeah,
that
that's
game. Yeah, that was excellent. I love that game. We rented the consoles. We never owned a Saturn, and I think for years we never owned a PlayStation.
Saturn
But
was expensive as fuck back
yeah,
then. It
but we
was
were
like
able
five
to.
hundred dollars.
Yeah, it was like for a $200 deposit, you could rent a console. But ultimately, like, if you could cover that deposit, the rental was only like $10 for the actual system. So we
Oh,
rent. Somehow we were able to rent the system. I mean, it was because mom was able to actually cover that because hey, she was getting a lot of money from otherwise.
Which I
But
didn't even know. I did not even know.
yeah, we weren't actually aware of it yet. But we rented that and some of the Sega Saturn games, and I think that was some of the first like console renting of the actual consoles that we did, after the Super Nintendo era where we fucking actually owned a Super Nintendo. But yeah, we rented a Saturn and we rented some of those Saturn games and like really excellent. There's also D, which was really a shitty game, but we played the shit out of
Yeah,
that
those FMV
rental.
games.
Yeah, that were literally just clips of videos and you would click through 'em, like Myst. I don't think I think we did rent Myst, and I think we played it for one day and it was so boring because it was not a good game. Really, it was
you got to be a
shit.
different type of person to get into this game.
Yeah, but I mean, like that sort of high fantasy shit is just like makes me want to just puke. Give me fucking if Myst were like RoboCop the game, then I probably would have dedicated that much time. If it included like people's heads
then,
being zippered in half by gunfire, then yeah, maybe. But
then solve a puzzle.
yeah, exactly. Solve the
It's like,
puzzle of how to fucking zipper this guy's head in half with
yeah,
gunfire, then
like
yeah, I would absolutely do it.
you play the doctors putting Murphy back
Yeah.
together.
Oh, that sounds cool. That sounds like a cool game.
Sounds terrible. I just want to. The Data East arcade RoboCop was the best RoboCop,
Oh, was it? Yeah, for the arcade, wasn't that?
and that
Wasn't
was,
that
and
super
even that
violent?
wasn't that great.
You know what? There was an arcade Die Hard game. I don't want to mention this even to my brother.
Dynamite Deca. Yeah, that game has nothing to do with Die Hard. It
Yeah,
was like
Yeah, I
a
remember it
whole
was like a fighting
indie
game or
in
something.
Japan.
It was like a side scroller fighting game, but with guns and shit.
well, it was the one you played, and a retard fucking literally beat you up to fucking
He didn't beat
take
me up.
control.
Basically,
Well, not beat you up.
I
He
set
fucking
my quarters aside.
he stole your money.
Stupidly, yeah. He basically just got right in my way, and fucking just got in my way, literally. And I was so apathetic because again, I wanted to kill myself that I didn't do anything about it.
And then one of the teachers fucking took a picture and then captioned it. We had fun at the hotel. This is an ancient story that actually I think takes more context to explain. But that's what happened was that you took a trip to Chicago with like retarded kids, and one of them like you had nothing to live for, but you had like a couple dollars.
Nothing to live for, but nothing to do, and no explanation for why I was depressed either. I thought it was. I couldn't explain. A lot of people. That's one of the things I could talk about probably for hours and hours on end. Is just so many people are depressed, and then people are like, "Oh, first world problems," and they can't explain. No one can explain it, but it's basically a real, genuine result of deep seated abuse.
Yeah,
Well,
it's abuse
but
of
no
the
one
male gender
considers
though.
it
First world
abuse.
doesn't exclude you from the human condition.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yes, exactly.
It's also the war against boys as fucking
It's definitely what happened to me.
yeah, the war against boys. That's the result of it, and that's how it happens, and that is the fucking that's the result. That's the cause, and ultimately, that led to was you playing the Die Hard arcade game in a fucking hotel lobby that had like 2 or 3 arcade cabinets. One of them was the fucking Die Hard game. That was probably the best one there. And you had like a roll of quarters or something along the fucking arcade
I got
cabinet
in
to
a
play.
shit ton of I already knew ahead of time we were going to be in a hotel. And it was like, hell yeah. I'm going to have an opportunity to probably hit up a snack machine and actually eat for the first time in
Yeah.
a week.
Also, like fucking, Chicago, pretty cool town. Like nice view, that kind of shit. And playing an arcade game with a fucking view of the city outside, or something like that.
Which it wasn't.
Yeah, but it's like still, hey, fucking the big city, cool. But yeah, and then you had the game, and then fucking some retard just muscled his way. It was
Didn't
one of
even.
the
Fuck.
It was one of the retards that you were on the trip with, though. It was like, fucking, here's a retarded kid. He's on this trip with you. And then it's like, you can't tell him what to do because he's retarded. So he
like-
fucking stole all your money. He stole the fucking gameplays. He wasted the money, basically, by just dying over and over
Well,
again
no,
in like
here's
2
the thing,
seconds or
and this is
something.
supposed to be a high functioning retard too. My money was in the thing. I don't even remember actually. All I remember is my money was in the thing. He didn't ask permission to play the game, and it's a 2-player game too. So all he had to do was ask. Instead, he basically just stepped right in while I was busy, managing the quarters. It's just a gigantic purse of quarters.
And it was like some giant, like, retard strength retard who's like 6'7", like
A
800
man.
pounds.
Caliber Lenny. or
Yeah, exactly.
so like, I want to pet the rabbits, George.
Yes, he wanted to pet the arcade machine. Like, if you had stepped in the way, he would have petted you until your fucking neck broke.
Ugh.
But, yeah, like, I mean, this is how I fucking understand the story, because I know you were actually there and it happened, like, and again, we blocked out so many of these years like a fucking childhood rape, because it was so empty.
It was a raping of my childhood.
It's just like Patrice O'Neill would describe, like, women rape us of our time. That's pretty much what we were raped of our time for, like, since age 12 to age 20.
I would say starting at
20.
age 6.
Oh, because I still remember, well, yeah, I don't really...
Basically, age 6 was like the last chance. The last 45 seconds of good in my life.
We were still doing good in grade school, though, because people didn't have much standards.
They didn't have the check minus, check plus system.
Yeah, they didn't have the grade system. They just had, like, check plus or check minus for the day. It's like, oh,
our teachers sucked, too.
You didn't stab another kid to death? You get a check plus.
Our teachers were fucking... I remember specifically... I had a lot of teachers who were fucking dicks.
A couple of them were okay, I thought, but they weren't, like, fucking great teachers. They were just kind of there. Which was, in a way, it's all you need, but one or two of them were fucking, like, really detrimental to the human race. Like, I think one of them was, like, a child molester.
Jesus.
But of girls. So, he was just pissed off at us. But he would give the girls a complete free pass, which was, like, very red sunglasses.
Again, though, that's absolutely typical of, like, every fucking man in this society. Except for me. Because I grew up being able to recognize
it's too bad pleb
that
couldn't join
level
for
of
this show.
unfair privilege.
See, now, if you were in the South, you could have been on the football team, then you would have gotten a pass.
Well,
no,
not us.
Never would have been able. You don't put, like, fucking children rescued from Saddam's torture dungeons into football if they can't walk.
Yeah.
We were actually very athletic, considering that
we're athletic at, like, age 9.
Victims of persistent malnutrition and starvation. Literally. We would joke about it, not even realizing
I do remember
it wasn't funny.
I remember joking about it with us and our one friend, the one who introduced us to weed, like 5 years earlier. He was still our only one friend.
He would accuse me of freeloading all the time because we'd go over to a friend's house and they have food in their fridge.
Well,
holy shit, they have food?
Yeah, and then you would ask.
It's like, Yeah, no, I wouldn't ask for the food. Instead, I'd just go right into their fridge.
Well, no, you would still ask for the food, and then fucking this, our one friend would make fun of us for asking for the food. He was really a fucking cunt in that sense. But yeah, that's what our life was like in the fucking the hostile suburbs, as fucking N word would call it. It's fucking.
It's
I'm
decent.
getting way too inside with this shit. But not N word, but he was the mayor of the largest city. That's what he would call it, though, the hostile suburbs. I don't know. Maybe you can Google that and fucking God dox us for the rest of our, ruin our lives for the rest of our lives. But anyways, the yeah, it was like we had a relatively like our society. It's not like we had to wake up and shoot another child to death in our lives, but we would wake up and not have anything to eat, go to school. I remember going to school many, many, many times and not actually bringing a lunch because we didn't have anything to eat. But mom would act like it's like, oh, why don't you bring an apple? And it's like we don't have apples. Or it's like, why don't you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that would turn soggy with
And we're
fucking.
like 7 years old. She wants us to make our own food, but we're
Well,
not
I remember
allowed to
you into
touch.
our
We're
into
not
our
allowed
teenage
to
years though.
touch
But
the food.
on top of that was like fucking she believed that like an average meal would be something called a Miracle Whip sandwich, which is when you take two pieces of white bread and you smear Miracle Whip between them and you eat that. And I remember doing that for a while. For a number of years, I thought that was actually a good sandwich. And eventually, into my
Yeah, I remember. Eventually, it made me vomit.
yeah, into my teenage years, I was like, this is fucking disgusting. I can't eat this shit. And mom did not understand any better. She had cans of lima beans all over, and she
She
considered
still
that to be
does.
food. Yeah, she still does, actually. Yeah, we went to her house, and she still has the fucking shelves lined with lima beans. And she would call our dad the fucking garbage picker, which is like, oh, dad, fucking, he was taught to never waste anything. It's like, well, fucking, don't you have shelves lined with food you'll never eat? Food, cans of food that's probably been expired for years, or probably not even expired for years. I bet she fucking throws it
That's
out.
also the thing is that's really no excuse. But
It's
yeah,
just, it's just a
he was. I don't
bizarre
even
fucking
remember that. Is
mindset.
that yeah? He was taught never to waste anything. So here, go pick these fucking baseball caps out of the garbage. Yeah, that's a good
So he had
use.
hoarding problems.
Yeah, he got worse.
That's actually, yeah, he got really worse. I saw him, I think in 2000, not 2004, but 2014. His house was literally collapsing, and
He's homeless now, as far as we know. We don't even know if he's alive.
the city had to demolish his home. But we went inside, and he was still living in it. It was one of those hoarder houses like you would see on the TV shows where there was garbage just piled up. And we went to the back room, and there was like a fresh 100 canisters of like Folgers coffee. It was like, how is he making this? Because the kitchen had garbage on the stove. I was like, holy fuck. And I realized he was like one of those TV show hoarders. I'd never actually seen the show. I had heard fucking Opie and Anthony talk about the hoarder show, and it's like, oh, those fucking crazy people.
I do the cold water coffee, so maybe that's what he was doing.
Yeah, you know what? That's possible. That's very possible. And it was scary because I went into the way back room. Like in his garage, supposedly he had motorcycles he was saving for us to fucking give to us for years and years. And I couldn't open the garage door because the garage had collapsed. And there was boards and girders of the fucking garage that had just fallen against the door. So I could open it maybe 1 centimeter and peek inside, and all I could see was just collapsed garbage and all this shit. And it was just like, okay, so there's no motorcycles or any of this shit. Like if they've been rusted into oblivion. The house had to be demolished. I don't know where he's living. We sort of have contact with his sister, not really. We haven't contacted her. She sends us like fucking Christmas cards sometimes, and we've been thinking about trying to contact her, but it's like, what's the point? And that's pretty much what life is for our connection with dad. With our connection with dad, which is just like a stranger. Like when I saw him, he was just like a weird homeless guy.
We used to go over his house when we were little kids, and I remember
When we were
demanding
10.
Mom not take us to
Yeah,
his
we
house
would fucking
anymore.
almost practically scream at Mom to not fucking drop us off at Dad's house anymore because it was depressing and boring. He had no video games, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were fucking like, it's fucking. He didn't have cable. That was especially important. Was that there was nothing to watch except channels two,
That's
four,
actually
and
kind of
seven.
one of the fucking things. His mom had so little money, she could afford cable TV though.
Yeah, at least, at the very least. I mean, fucking, that may have been easy to hook up with somebody. Like if you fucking have no compunction about telling a guy, "Hey, I'll give you $20, give me all the channels." I would probably do that if I knew someone to do that with. But fuck, I can't even describe how much better life is right now. Right now, life is fucking.
Now that we're in control of our lives, and it's
Life
a
is
disaster area
yes.
where we have no money. The house is falling apart, kind of like Dad's house.
It's not. Well, no, it's not falling apart like Dad's house.
Ugh.
Dad's house was literally collapsing. Our house just has fucking
But
duct
the roof is
problems where
rotting out, and we have no money to
the
fix
roof's
it,
not
just
really
like he
rotting out. The
didn't.
roof's not rotting out at all. But fucking, we're gonna replace the roof soon because we've been told we have to, which I will soon. We will soon. I'm fucking gonna use the fucking government taxpayer money to replace the roof soon. Fuck the fucking. I mean, that's what it should be spent on, to keep the neighborhood nice.
Yeah.
But our life is the best it's been now. We have a fucking shelter that we take care of ourselves, and we can fucking watch TV at whatever volume we want. And we have all. I have all the video games I could ever possibly want, with the exceptions of Far Cry 4, fucking MGS 5, and Fallout 4, which isn't even out yet. I think there's one other
Well,
game.
I mean, yeah, with Fallout 4, it's just going to get even more awesome.
Yes, it's
Just this
gonna.
era of video games
Also,
is the
also,
best ever.
maybe even more importantly, the Steam controller, which is going to change video games for all of history.
See, you know what? I'm still skeptical about that.
I can't say for sure. I can't
Yeah,
say for sure.
it's just I find it hard. Like I understand, I
But
can
it's two
see the
touch pads.
functionality they're trying to put in to like match like the mouse, especially for like if you want to play like an RTS with a controller like that. But I just don't know.
I think an RTS would probably be easier than an FPS with
Yeah.
the two touchpads. Because I mean, that's what it is two touchpads. People play games with fucking touch. Well, not even touch pads, but like fucking the fucking ball thingies all the
Yeah,
time.
but that feels weird to me too.
Yeah, it feels weird. Like a mouse, I would prefer because it has the bigger thing. But I feel like I could get used to the two touchpads way more easier than the fucking sticks. The sticks have no. They've been milking the sticks for years, and they've milked them to their
Well,
maximum
one thing's for
potential.
sure: the fucking sticks, they're out.
Yeah, the
I
sticks.
will never play another
Yeah,
first-person shooter with sticks.
yeah, they're
Does the
painful.
touchpad have any sort of feedback, or is it just
I
touch
don't know.
touch?
I don't actually
Well,
have.
there's the haptic feedback.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what they. I don't
so it
fucking.
vibrates when you click it or touch on it.
I don't even
The
know.
Okay.
Yeah,
controller,
they
the
might
controller
fucking.
vibrates.
You know what I want though? All I want is that the fucking. If I can play any FPS, even poorly. But what I want is I want the controller, and then I want to test it out on CS:GO, which is the ultimate test. I mean, I don't even expect it to perform well on CS:GO, but if I can at least compete a little bit, that would be something. That would be incredible, especially because my rank in CS:GO is quite good, because I'm so good at the game.
Wow, it's hot in here.
Yeah, it is. We
It's
should
like
open the
70,
windows.
80 degrees in here.
Yeah, it's like 80 degrees. It's probably only 72. Let me open the windows.
No, it's only 72.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. We should open them. Fuck. Yeah, yeah. My back is sweating. Sweating into the gore. Let's open this fucking fan. I'm opening the fan. Alright, fuck this shit. But yeah, fucking this era of video games is so superior to every other era of video games. Just like this era of life is so superior to every other era of life that we've been in. I think anyone else would have been in it. And that's why we fucking like that Louis C.K. bit that he did about how the economy collapsing so that people could appreciate how good things have people have it. We appreciate how good we have it right now because we have it best. The whole of society has it best right now. We have phones that work at like more powerful computers than what we had like 5 years ago and shit. It's just fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous.
but it's like we were joking that we were watching Wrath of Khan the other day, and like the code for the shields was
Oh
like
yeah,
eight. It was like an 8-character numerical code to
you
hack
had
the
to actually
shields.
hit a switch upwards to fucking put in an individual number.
Something an iPhone could easily brute force through.
Yes,
You know?
it's almost quaint. It makes the movie that much better because just how quaint and ancient the technology that they predicted was. It was just ridiculous. Uh,
That's one of the reasons why. Just imagining what the computer should be, like say on the Enterprise D,
yeah.
versus like what we have now. Like that, the Enterprise D should be like a fucking god creature, you know?
Yeah, only in DS9 were they starting to predict like way, way beyond what the current technology was. Like they were calling it giga quads and shit, and it's like they couldn't even. They're like, okay, we shouldn't even bother trying to explain how much space this could be. And then I think they took a step back with that with Voyager because Voyager was like, oh, it takes up this much space, and it's like the hologram system uses a different power system. It's like no, no. No.
Voyager. Well, here's the thing: Voyager was kind of so on the shitty end. You just had to accept, that it
But I
was.
wouldn't. I
It
wouldn't
was just.
fully
It was
accept it.
too silly to take seriously. So you could let stuff like that slide. That was like
Yeah,
the only way you
yeah.
can
It was like
enjoy Voyager.
episode by episode. It was just like here's some good episodes, but the majority of them are just fucking awful. Fucking and Enterprise again. The same system where it's just fucking awful. But there's a few good episodes like way later. There's some of the fucking worst episodes ever, though, in fucking Voyager and Enterprise. DS9, even at its lowest, although I think, wasn't it the only SF review that he gave a 0 to was He Who Is Without Sin?
I can't remember.
I think my brother's not fucking
I,
thing.
No, I'm not gonna. I can't even
Oh,
think. I can't even focus on the stream
are you
right
playing
now, so I don't know.
Vision games? Well, fucking,
you
No,
super hated that
no, I'm
episode where
not.
they picked up all the Irish like stereotypes on
oh, the TNG off. You know what's
and I
funny is
can't
that
remember how low he rated that.
Forge talks about like how much he likes the first couple of seasons of Enterprise because they're so stupid, and it's like he talks about what's the episode where they introduced the Ferengi, realm of fear, realm terror,
Oh, right.
just
Is that
fucking
Enterprise? No, that was Acquisition.
no, no,
The
no, no.
first
The
episode
first
of Acquisition with the Ferengi was
no,
Acquisition.
the first TNG episode.
That was the one where they were like, "Look at the dog. Clearly, he's the captain. Or, look at the size of his ears."
No, wasn't that
Or
fucking
Oh yeah,
something
that
like
was
that.
Enterprise.
Enterprise? That was Enterprise.
Yeah.
What's the first TNG episode? Because that's where they
You mean the
introduced
Oh,
Last
the last
Outpost?
oh, the
outpost.
last yes, the last outpost. Even the name, it's just but fucking yeah. Forge was like just delighted apparently with like, are you barbarians? Just fucking whatever.
Be you barbarians.
Yes, and like the at the act out of that where they cut to commercial, you can so clearly see that they reversed the film because like they need one more second of film, so it's like you see him close his robe and just reverse film after
Yeah.
he opened it. And it's just like, what the fuck is this? Just cheap fucking like like even for TV it was bargain basement. Like even Roger Corman would be like, "Whoa, you guys are fucking just shit." Oh fuck! And Roger Corman made the Fantastic Four movie. I think after that.
Well, one thing I can say about Roger Corman is at least he he seemed to get talent despite
Oh
you know,
fuck yes,
paying
he
like
made a lot of really important careers
Yeah,
just from his
the
shitty
latest
movies.
review of SF Debris is of the Terminator, and one
Yeah,
of the
a
guys who
great
fucking got
review.
their career
Stan
started
Winston
on the
and
Terminator was fucking James Cameron.
yeah, and Stan Winston worked for Corman too.
Yeah, that's
Right.
right. And Stan Winston worked like kind of for cheap. He worked on The Thing before that. That was like his best, most important movie before Terminator. And all of a sudden, fucking Stan Winston was like the biggest fucking dude for like practical effects. It was great. He was fucking fantastic.
Speaking
He's,
of, did you hear about the whole thing about basically Terminator Genesis put the nail in the coffin of the Terminator franchise?
you know, I heard that, and again, not to mention this fucking furry faggot, but Forge talked about. I think he just downloaded the movie tonight,
Mm.
and or like a bunch of hours ago, he was just watching it. It was like he was like, "Oh, the start's really good," and it's like, "Oh, it gets really shitty right after that." And then he was like, "Oh, the action picks up a little bit." So it was like the movie's not as bad as I thought it would be. I was like, "Oh, great." So I have to watch this fucking stupid ass piece of shit because you said it was good.
The
And
problem
this,
is they became fucking spectacles. They weren't about story. They
yeah,
rehashed a lot of the story
that's
over
what
and
the
over
first two
again.
movies were about, the weird story, and it's so much about the character, especially Sarah Connor. That's one thing you really have to give fucking credit to fucking
Camera.
yeah, to James Cameron for, was that he really gave a shit about female characters for real. Like just like not even like here's a strong female
You mean like
character.
not J.J.
Joss
Abrams,
Whedon.
but yeah, Dross Wheaton.
Yeah, exactly. He's not like Draw Sweden, but he's like fucking like here's a female character. She's got problems. She has to do this. She has to do this complicated shit, but she can pick up this gun and just like I mean, in a way, they still explain it. Like she has been training. She has this. She's doing pull-ups. You see it. You physically see it in the movie. It's important. It's really good, and I like it. I don't even like James Cameron as a person. I think Avatar is one of the shittiest recent movies ever made. I think Titanic is really fucking dumb and boring, but also I still have to respect James Cameron because he's made some of the greatest action movies ever made and some great female characters that are for real great without being like actually feminist. Where they're
It's
just
just it's
people.
hard to believe that the guy who directed True Lies also directed Avatar.
I love True Lies too. I fucking love that so much because it's like over the top. It's like if Michael Bay had talent and he wanted to make a fucking movie based off of like a Frank Miller script or something.
God, that's true. That's like it's like a good Michael Bay movie.
Yeah,
Never even
exactly.
thought about that comparison.
It's weird because I think Michael Bay was most influenced by James Cameron. A
Yeah,
lot of other people, in fact, Michael Bay, I think, almost doesn't get enough credit for being influenced by a lot of other. Because they say that Michael Bay, as like cheesy and cheap as he is, has such a distinct style that you can't like, like he's so over stylized that it's a masterclass in its own, even
he's
in its shittiness.
he's the Boris Vallejo of movie directors.
Yeah, you know what? Boris Vallejo, I would even say, is more important than Michael Bay, but still, Michael Bay, in a way, deserves credit. Like, if you studied his movies as a filmmaker, you would still be like, he he intentionally makes his movies so energetic, and I think he gets a lot of that from he wants to make Coen Brothers movies. Coen Brothers are way too subtle for that though, but Coen Brothers have such that artistry, but also a lot of Scorsese with the moving cameras and that kind of shit.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, but he's never going to be those people.
yeah,
I
he'll
guess
never.
you could argue that in his attempts to be those people, he became Michael Bay.
Yeah, I
Like,
think Michael Bay could make truly great, important movies.
He is choosing really shitty scripts.
Yeah, I think that's the problem is that he's choosing the shittiest scripts that he possibly could. Um, and
I didn't see Pain and Gain. I've heard people say that was kind of different.
it was not good. It
Uh,
was really dumb. I would say it's better than the Transformers movie. It's better than Transformers 2. I actually
I
wouldn't even
hope
say it's better
so.
than 3, though. Transformers 2 is like the
Better
worst.
than stubbing my toe.
Yes, exactly.
Therefore,
Better than
it's
having
better than Transformers
bamboo
2.
shoots shoved under my fingernails. But Transformers 2, I'd say, is one of the worst movies ever made. Like, it's down there with fucking Manos: The Hands of Fate.
Well, that's
It,
bad.
yeah, that's bad. But didn't Michael Bay? He made The Rock, didn't he? Didn't he direct that?
Yeah, The Rock's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah,
good movie. That's a good, but
and
it is
and I like the
also
Bad Boys movies as well.
yeah. You know,
I
although
like the
Bad
first
Boys,
one.
yeah, the first one,
The
yes,
first, the second one's still, it's dumb.
it has really dumb entertainment, but it's so fucking long. It's like painfully long, too much, painfully long. But yeah, it still has like some entertainment. Fucking, um, the fucking the rats fucking and Martin Lawrence is that they fuck just like we do. One of the most like even the shittiest, just dumbest scene is where they drive like a yellow Humvee through a shitload of like Cuban shacks
Yeah,
and just I remember that's one of the most important scenes in movie history to me. I don't want to even get into why on the podcast, but I'll just say Roger Ebert was like triggered by that fucking scene because he was like, people live in those shacks, but there's one single quick throwaway line that's ADR'd in. And if you don't know what ADR means, it means when somebody in a booth records a line that gets dubbed into the movie
yeah. I
that you never.
forget what the acronym stands for, but I know what
Advanced
its function
dynamic
is.
recording, I think it
There we
was.
go.
But it's like when you never see the character actually say the line, but you fucking hear the line in the movie, and usually there's so much shit happening in the fucking dumbass movie that you never even know the lines being said. But somebody in the movie says this is their main drug production facility, so people weren't actually living in the shacks. So when they drive through it, all these shacks exploding against the fucking Humvee, it's okay.
That makes it worse, though.
But
It's
it's
got to be
like
innocent people that they're just barreling through.
a friend of mine mentioned, like he referenced the scene as like they drop it into fifth, or not fifth, but fifth, and
Fifth.
vaporize a Cuban boy's head under the drive wheel. That's that's the scene in Bad Boys 2 when they drive through all the shacks.
That's what happens.
That's just what happens in the movie. Is that he fucking you see fucking Martin Lawrence fucking crank the gear shifter just like in Overdrift when they drive it from neutral into D with D for drive or D for drift.
Or dinosaur
Or
because
dinosaur because they turn into dinosaurs temporarily, but they just drops into fifth and fucking vaporize. Like there's a Cuban boy's head just sleeping. He's just asleep or knocked out underneath the
during the
fucking
day.
yes underneath one of the rear wheels, and it's like the rear wheel kicks in and his head just pulverizes into red goo and it sprays all
Pink
over the side of a
mist.
fucking yes. And it's just the fucking again as Ebert would refer to he called the thing pornography of violence, and again that's what Bad Boys 2 was. It was so it was so violent, but that scene wasn't violent at all. It was just crashing through a bunch of empty shacks,
That's
and
what
Ebert
bothers
was
it.
just triggered by it. It was really just a dumb little scene that had no significance or meaning. It was just to
But didn't
crash
you
through
see the
things.
subtext? The deep seated like political commentary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. It's because Bush was president. It was like 2002 or 2003, so there had to be political subtext to everything. Just like Ebert was doing that, but you know what? Who was the worst at it was Dana Stevens from Slate.com, who reviewed. I remember 300 and Rambo 4. She gave like the most negative. Like she didn't give a score, but she was like fucking very triggered, like the maximum 200% triggered by 300 because it was a movie about the Persian Empire invading, and they're fighting the Persian Empire, and
Therefore,
she
clearly
actually,
racist.
yeah, she actually said these filmmakers aren't they aware that we're in the middle of a real war, as if to say that
That it wasn't a real war.
well, the responsibility of filmmakers was then to denounce the war. You know, because the war has to be bad. You got if you're gonna make a movie about any war, you got to portray it as like a big not a 9/11 Holocaust, but a giant fucking war atrocity crime. Like fucking, you got to make Platoon 2, fucking Me Lie All Day if you're gonna fucking make a war movie in
But the only way to make
2003.
like a unique war movie these days is to like do a movie like that. That's like, man, war is awesome.
Yeah, war.
War, it's
It's
fantastic.
fantastic. Yeah,
Fantastic.
exactly. Which is, fucking what you should do. But in the Bush era, when everyone was suffering from BDS, was just fucking something I
The
learned from my brother.
most accurate description.
Yeah, it's still accurate, and it's still accurate to this day. When you make a movie about war, you have to make it as some kind of constant, non-stop rape atrocity where women are being, like, ripped in half from
Women
cuts to
and
the neck.
minorities.
I think that's your
Hardest
episode
hit.
title.
Artists
Constant
hit
non-stop
worse.
rape atrocity.
Yes. That's fucking that's what they had to make war movies as. Is like any war movie, any movie about war. And I remember I tried to watch all of them. I watched In the Valley of Elah, I watched Redacted and Rendition, and I tried to watch Stop Loss, and that's when I was kind of broke. I was just like, no, no, because I already knew what it was going to be. And it was just like every movie tried to eventually, or essentially, tried to recreate the Iraq War as the Vietnam War, and the Vietnam War portrayed as the My Lai massacre.
Hollywood sure did love that.
Oh yeah, they loved themselves a good fucking civilian massacre. I never seen brains have come apart like that. There's nothing good as that. It's a piece of pussy with the fucking Indy 500. You know, that kind of shit. That is how they want to portray any war ever, unless it's a war against America, which America deserves. I remember, wasn't there an anthology of like short films about 9/11, and most of them were about how fucking America deserved it.
Yeah.
And that was like in 2002. And some of them were French directors, and some of them were fucking like one was Turkish, which of course Turkey, one of the countries that's actually harbored like fucking not Osama bin Laden because it was fucking Pakistan, but Turkey's pretty much they would have harbored Osama bin Laden if Osama bin Laden decided to go there. But yeah, that was the Bush era. That's pretty much what the Bush era was like. When Bush was president, the entire world reacted. They were very reactionary to fucking Bush being president. And I just remember having a good old laugh at everyone else's expense to Bush being president.
I especially had a good old laugh at Team America World Police, the movie.
Yeah, Team America was the only movie who was based off of basically us. It was based off of us. It was just making fun of people who supported terrorism, which now everyone else is red sunglasses to, at least partially, to the reality of that kind of shit. But
More so now than they've ever been, probably.
yeah, the fucking these days it's easier to accept because Bush is gone, and I don't miss him really. Well,
Well, I think now everybody's. I like to think that everybody's getting to the point where they're like, everybody's full of shit. You
yeah,
know?
it doesn't matter. People are more realizing that it wasn't just the right all along that was full of shit, which the right is, and of course we fucking have discussed this on previous episodes. But the left also with Obama and fucking as president in fucking office, and like everyone's talking about like, oh, Obama, he's gonna finally close down Guantanamo, and no, No, it's still open to this day, and it's going to stay open, and it probably never should close because there's probably shit that happened in Guantanamo that involves like shit worse than 9/11 that was actually stopped because Guantanamo was fucking in business. And it's kind of a shame that we can never know what that is. Maybe in our lifetimes, who the fuck even knows? But I have a feeling that's pretty much part of it. And I think Obama knows. Well, not I think. Obama does know why fucking Guantanamo Bay is still in business, and that's why he keeps it in business because he knows he has to. Otherwise, he's going to be the president that let something worse than 9/11 happen under his watch, and that
There's a
kind of.
lot of stuff about this administration that I I desperately wish I could know the truth about what's going on, and
I think it's
because
no more mysterious though than the Bush administration. I think
yeah,
Bush was too dumb to even keep that much a secret.
it's just there's a lot of shit going on that just doesn't make any sense. It seems like people are going contrary to what common sense would dictate, and you just
Yeah, that's what leftism seems to me is just people going intentionally going contrary to fucking common sense.
I
'Cause-
refuse to believe that the people are stupid.
That is kind of what the hippies believe, though, is that they've got a new system. They're figuring things out, and it's completely different from the way things used to
yeah,
be
that's what
done.
critical theory is supposed to be is like throwing common sense into the garbage and being like, no, we got a new way. And I think that's what the idea is supposed to be. I don't know, if that's really what they're trying to do in practice or if they're just trying to overthrow the capitalist system, man, or whatever. All I know is that fucking green chicks are hot with
Yeah, they are.
giant fucking tits. Here's another thing and that's why I'm fucking, we can't support conservatives because a conservative would see a fucking orc chick with giant tits bigger than her head, and be like, "Ooh, degeneracy," and just they would be cucks about it. They would be cucks.
It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, that's why you
Just
can't.
people.
That's why we always have always said that the answer doesn't lie with the left or the right, but the center, or at least neither. And I think that's where the truth is going to lie. And I think more people are being red sunglasses to
Hang on
that.
a sec. My cat's bashing its head against my window.
Oh shit, that's probably not
Just,
good.
I'll be right back.
All right, but yeah, I think that's just the way to go is not to left or the right, and I think people are waking up to that. Although I think like when it comes to Gamergate, a lot of them are still on the left, and I think you have to,
Maybe being mugged by reality.
yeah, maybe being mugged by reality, but I think they also don't exactly realize that there's a lot of truth on the right part of the spectrum, not the right part of the politics or the right wing people, but it doesn't mean they're wrong about everything. Like even Bill O'Reilly is a broken clock. He's going to be right twice a day or some kind of shit like that. Doesn't mean he's going to be wrong about everything. And I think people get so brainwashed into their idealism and their ideology that they're not going to realize that. But I think even some people who are woke to that shit still kind of don't realize it. But I don't know. I think it's a sort of a changing world. But as long as people are changing away from that, that's good. But people have to be changing away from that authoritarian leftism because the left sort of owns the authoritarianism, especially in Europe, where they are currently destroying themselves, which is almost hilarious because I don't live in Europe. If I lived in Europe, I would be like, "Then get me the fuck out of here," and that kind of shit. But it's kind of creepy how that fucking happens. Um, yeah, here's the thing I mentioned sort of at the beginning. The reason ISIS just slaughtered 150 females couldn't be more despicable. And it's like the fact that it's from westernjournalism.com. It's like the fact that they slaughtered females. Is that what makes it bad? which is, if you're gonna fucking claim there's equality. But here's the thing: is that again, female. If you're gonna say females are not equal, they're fucking more defenseless than men. Then yes, that is worse, isn't it? And people should be brave enough to ask questions. But let's see. I
But if you
didn't
ask the
actually.
wrong questions, you're going to get doxxed and lose your job.
Trying to get doc. And that was another thing that actually got noticed today that Forge was telling me because we were talking about some of the shit about Sargon and stuff, and that people are trying to dock Sargon and those kinds of people because in like GG Revolt, which I know you read some of, same mod, but like some of those people apparently trying to dock Sargon and other people who are against the SJW feminist stuff, which is just getting into and that's part of like the Paul section, which are conservatives. They're just getting
I don't.
like.
You think they're just that? Because Paul is ridiculous.
Yeah, they're ridiculous, but a lot of them, as we say, they think the solution to all this shit is bringing back prayer and church, that kind of shit. They think that the degeneracy stems from not enough conservative views, not enough good Christian religion. And so yeah, that's Paul, and that's a lot of that shit. That's basically just right-wing thinking. Maybe super hardcore, ridiculous, retarded right-wing thinking, but it comes from the right wing, and that is what happens when you go to the right wing. They're not going to come up with good solutions. They're kind of gonna come up with fucking traditionalist values that are mostly stupid shit. Not all necessarily wrong, but a lot of it's just really fucking stupid shit. And that's why you get a lot of those problems. And eventually they turn on their own allies, where you get fucking people trying to dock Sargon and that kind of shit. Because they think that the enemies are people who are still essentially on their side, but not enough on their side, which is again what the Jews try to fucking do. Where if you want to make a video game with a female protagonist who doesn't want to kill anyone and all that kind of shit, it's like, here's my game with no violence. This SJWs will still turn against you.
Well, what exactly turned him against Sargon? Because he's
he's left wing. He's not a right winger.
Okay.
And that's really it.
That's really what bothers them.
That's pretty much what bothers them, is that he doesn't fucking promote prayer and church. That kind of shit. He doesn't promote traditional, like, man up and marry these sluts. Fucking right wing, traditional fucking Christian values. He doesn't promote that.
Here's the thing, though. Like, aren't most of them like society needs to collapse before it can be rebuilt? Shouldn't they be like promoting Sargon because he's just going to hasten that collapse?
Kind of, but they want to collapse it and rebuild it as a Christian nation, which it is what they think America actually is, which it isn't. If you even read the First Amendment, if you are truly red sunglasses, which is, by the way, a million levels beyond woke, but if you're really aware of objective reality, sort of, I guess you could say, an objectivist, but if you're really aware of the First Amendment, it says, before it even mentions free speech, it says that the nation can't be ruled under any religious law, ever. Yeah. Which means not even Christian law. In fact, if you read what the fucking founding fathers said about Christianity, they pretty much slammed it. They say it's fucking gay-ass, retarded, dumb
Jefferson was a theist. I mean, technically he's a Christian, but
he was a theist mostly. He fucking, I mean, he
wrote the Jefferson's Bible.
Well,
which is
not wrote. He didn't write the Jefferson's Bible. He took a regular Bible with a razor blade and slashed it to ribbons.
He took out all the paranormal shit.
Yeah, the goofy shit. Which is, I mean, that's how Christopher Hitchens words it, anyways. Is took a actual razor blade, which I think he actually, I mean, back in the 1700s, you would have to do. You fucking slash a Bible physically. That's the most sacrilegious thing I can imagine, and it's also a fucking good fun thing. It sounds to me. And yeah, he took it and basically left the Buddhism is how I understand it.
I have a copy somewhere, but I have to say that I've never read it.
Apparently it's quite short, from what I hear too. I've never actually even heard of it, to be honest. I've never heard of the Jefferson Bible, which fucking shocks the shit out of me. It's like, if it's that old, how can I have never heard of it? Jefferson Bible? Mom certainly
Well, I would imagine
never
even at the time it was probably something that's kind of taboo.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I can imagine, like, fucking no printing press wanted to touch that. But then again, in the country that they fucking created, someone would be like, yeah, we'll print it. But like, fucking, I mean, and that's another thing, is that the fucking Jew fucking types, like the feminist bookstores and that kind of shit, maybe would have considered printing it until the last couple, like 20 years, couple decades or so, when they're like, oh, if he had sex with sleeves, he was physically attracted to black women. That's fucking offensive triggering. Which, that's certainly bad. Being offended, being fucking attracted to black women. That's pretty disgusting. You don't want to mix up let's not mix up the races here. That's for sure bad. I mean, really, shouldn't fucking Thomas Jefferson be championed? I fucking think he's probably a great guy.
Well, he's like the Constitution. You trot it out as long as it suits your argument,
yeah, if it's
and then you like shit on it when it's inconvenient.
Which is weird because, in a way, fucking, like, Thomas Jefferson almost seems like a very liberal guy, but John Adams was actually far more liberal than him, because John Adams and his wife, who, makes all the decisions for the family, they were both, like, so intensely against slavery that John Adams, like, couldn't even be friends with fucking Thomas Jefferson, and Thomas Jefferson's like, ooh, whatever, man. And only, like, when they were in their 70s, we're like, you know what, we'll communicate over fucking text mail, snail mail. Is that what they called her back then? Snail mail. But they would fucking be pen pals in their old years, where they were like, we'll put away these differences of the whole slavery thing, because we're old as fuck. But Thomas Jefferson he didn't see slavery as, like, negative, probably because back then it was seen as a pact, like a compact between, like, okay, we'll give you food and shelter, and we'll provide for you permanently for all of your days, and then you just pick this kind, which is not really that difficult.
Well, there's also the aspect of there's the realistic conceit that the Union would have never ever held if they had straight out abolished slavery.
Yeah,
there would have never been a revolution. There would have never been.
They couldn't afford it, something like that. Which, I mean, we consider all this shit from today's ecology and economy, where it's like, what we do is that fucking Apple fucking has all these Chinese slaves, but they're not really slaves because they're not in America, but they are slaves.
Well, if they're getting paid anything, they're getting paid more than what China would ever pay them for any job you'd find in the country.
Yeah, that's why they flock to these fucking Apple things, but they're being paid like 10 cents an hour or some shit, and that's like, oh, that's incredible. 10 cents an hour?
I could feed my entire fucking family for a year with this money.
I guess it depends on how you look at it. I mean, like, if it weren't for that, what would they be doing?
An atrocity.
To earn a living. Even if there was no structure, you have to go out and fucking hunt and put in work. And if you can't do that, you starve to death.
Imagine that, fucking actually have to go out and get your own food for a living?
Yeah.
Having to kill it?
If anything, like a free market system, at least gives you the option not to have to do that. if it was easier, to go out and shit in the woods and hunt a
Yeah,
fucking
that's the thing
bear
is
with a
that
bow
even
and
today,
arrow.
even with our shitty lives and all that, the blocked out years of fucking oh fuck, I got hiccups really bad. But even
I'd be able to talk. Oh, I just got killed again. I'd be able to talk if I was playing something else. I can't even think right now. All I can think of is why am I getting killed? And I
because
have
of
no beer. I have no
is it because
beer.
of Kojima?
Nope, it's just because I can't pay attention to the game.
It is
All I can think of is all I can think of
Kojima.
is why the fuck is the game not working? Where if I simply alt tab to open up the streaming device, it breaks the game. Why does that happen? I don't know.
And
There's no
Mix
reason.
multiple Minx 5, I can smell your competition.
No, that's in fucking spaz. I can't get the game
Yeah, we need to
working.
find
Why
us some
isn't the
other.
game working? I'd go and fucking fix it right now, but we're already streaming.
Yeah,
So I can't. We have no time.
can you just hang around your base and like punch puppies or something?
Well, then I might as well just get out of the chair.
Uh, well, you
My
could do
back is
that.
gluing itself to the chair.
Well, the fucking fuck, I don't even remember what we were talking about. Something about Kojima, but
Huxley.
the fucking yeah, I don't even remember what we. Oh, no, I didn't finish this yet. All right, now I finished it. Oh fuck.
This entire fucking mission is a wash because Quiet keeps killing these vehicles, and so it's like
Quiet.
if she keeps doing that, there's no. This is taking almost an hour now, and
Is
there's
that
no reason for me to do this
wait?
mission at all if she kills
Quiet. You
one
mean
vehicle.
that naked whore?
Yep.
And you're playing as the medic from the helicopter in Ground Zeroes?
Yep.
Well, how come you're playing as the medic? How come you're not playing as Big Boss? Why don't you just play as Big Boss?
Because he's not in this game at all.
How come he's not in the game? You're just playing. You're just playing as the medic from the helicopter. Oh, wait. Wait a second. What the fuck were we talking about?
Talking about okay, we were on the subject of slavery and
Slavery's good.
Chinese workers.
Clumsor was just telling us about how slavery is good.
Yes, I was talking about how slavery is excellent.
but yeah, the reality of slavery being that like back then, I think it like over some point from like the 1700s when it was like introduced in America, or the maybe even the 14, 15, 1600s, and then into the 17 and 1800s. I think especially in the 1800s is when it started getting really bad, and that was like sort of that disconnect when like Thomas Jefferson was like, I don't fucking whip my slaves and that kind of shit. I'm very nice to them, and I like all these nice ladies that I have under my employ. Like they wouldn't say, I have these fucking slave whores, fucking rape the shit out of them. If they didn't consider it like that, they would be like, here's my employer, my employees. They work for me. I fucking feed them and I have all this shit. They work in my house. They, have a nice place for themselves, that kind of stuff. I think it wasn't until like the like a century later that all the fucking animosity and just being like, oh, these fucking slaves, they want to live on their. I think it wasn't until the idea of freeing slaves got introduced, which started happening. Which even when was introduced, still a lot of white people hated them and like, oh, black people.
Well, I mean, that idea was still there even at the founding of the country, and
All that
it,
shit
it's
started,
not like
and
they didn't think of it. Writing those words that all men are created equal, and that thought didn't cross their mind.
yeah, I think John Adams was like, "What the fuck are you doing with this? All men are created equal shit. You got slaves," and Thomas Jefferson would be like, "Yeah, but we're taking care of them." It was like that argument, and they were like, "Let's just move past this. We got to fucking ratify the fucking such and such." and they were like, "This is a problem we can't solve in our lifetimes because it was so endemic to the entire world economy at the time that they were like, we can't solve this."
And
And it wasn't until later
nobody
that
foresaw the Industrial Revolution.
yeah, it wasn't until machinery basically and like the cotton gin and the printing press and all that kind of goofy shit, and that helped advanced civilization, and and that's why things are so much better today for us and for everyone else, especially in America. That's why everyone's fucking cutting each other's throats to get into this country because of not only the civilization and the technology, but also the laws put in place to not prefer any religion. That's why all the people from Muslim countries are fucking being like, get the fuck out of these Muslim countries, go to this country, this awful heathen country where they don't have a religion in preference. Like, and they're coming to Sweden and Europe and that shit. But yeah, they're trying to get to these countries that have laws in place that don't prefer any religion, and they're trying to get in place where they prefer their religion and shit. But in America, that's never gonna fly. In England, that will probably work because they're so cowed and that kind of shit. But I think in America, it's never like a gun behind every blade of grass is still technically true.
I just don't understand why. I mean, why running from a place that is based on those laws, that were obviously threatening their life, and they want to reinstate it in the new place that they get to.
Well,
they think they're going to run it better. It's like it's okay as long as I'm the one holding the gun and not the person on the end of the barrel.
It sounds ridiculous, and I understand that too. Like just how it doesn't seem to make any sense. But also in the Quran, it says that any non-Muslim country must be subjugated. And there's all this stuff about the jizya tax and that kind of goofy ass shit. There's a lot of weird laws that people still take very seriously, based on shit from 1,000 years ago, that demands that every country has to be subjugated and put into submission by Sharia, which is just really Arabic for law. It's just what the word is. It's just law. He's like, here's our law. This is our law. And any country that doesn't follow the law is evil and therefore must be conquered and put under law. And that's why the Crusades happened, because they were a fucking response to an attempt to put the world under their law and all this kind of shit. And
but a lot of you would think that there would at least be a mentality, that look, this, it may be the word of Allah, but this just keeps getting us into shit over and over again. And
I think it's sort of the same way with Christians, where they're like, well, we have to follow the religious doctrine.
It's like, my fucking brother, he's up to his ass and kids, won't fucking get a vasectomy.
It's really bizarre because it in a way doesn't make sense to me. It's like they have to see through the fucking thing they escaped from, and yet they're still trying to enact the thing they escaped from, because the thing they escaped from tells them they have to enact it. So I would think it's sort of like that half and half way, where it's like, okay, I'm not going to church, but fucking Jesus still says I have to do this and this and this, even if it doesn't have any bearing on my life. So I think a lot of people see that with the Muhammad stuff. But after all, Muhammad was a homosexual, which is for sure bad. And Muhammad smoked weed and all that kind of stuff.
Forge is living proof of that.
But fucking
Forge himself will attest to that.
Yes. Muhammad also was a fan of Limp Bizkit.
Fred Durst. Not
Fred,
Limp Bizkit. Fred
Not Limp
Durst.
Bizkit, but Fred Durst. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think it's that sort of. It's the same way that conservatives will see, like, okay, we have to have limited government, but we still have to obey Christian law as if. And Christian law is like the most or the least limited government. It's the most intrusive form of government possible, where it's telling you what to do every day, which is, what Islamic law. Islam itself is the law. It's the final word, in fact. It's that it tells you how to live every part of your life. And Christianity, and especially Catholicism, does that too, where you can't have a hot dog on Friday, that kind of goofy ass shit. Where it's telling you how to live every bit of your life, and people find that comforting, where they're like, okay, here's all the rules, they're all set, now I have them all listed in a list right here, I know exactly what to do. So they find comfort in that, but it's
It's
all
fine if they
false.
do, but don't force it on people.
Yeah, and
It
but
sucks.
and that's also a part of the religion, though, is that it has to be proselytized, which even Penn would say, and he's a staunch atheist. But he would say, if I can proselytize for atheism, then religious people should be able to proselytize for their religion too. It should be
Well,
all the
it's
same.
one thing to go around saying, "Have you heard the good word?" And like
Have you heard
being
the
annoying,
good word
but
about
when
the
you're
Bassetin? You know they don't get sick, right? Bassetin don't get sick. They are the perfect beings. They're better than Jesus, really.
uh,
That is when I think about the good word. Have you heard the good word? Haven't you heard? Don't you know that Bassetin don't get sick? So clearly you have no need to
But
cast that locked
why
door
is it
spell.
important? Why is it important for to know that Bassetin don't get sick?
Because if you're in heat, you don't have to cast your locked door spell, which is the greatest plot twist. Is that plot twist is not even a plot twist in the history of two kinds. Which I do remember posting about this on Shitty Webcomics, so I can fucking talk about it freely. This was like shit. When did Shitty Webcomics start? Was it like 2011 or 12? But it was one of the first posts I ever made about fucking for Shitty Webcomics.
I think I missed that one.
Yeah, I think everyone did, because there's a webcomic called Two Kinds,
Right,
and it's
that's
by
the
this.
furry one, right?
Yes, and it's fucking my favorite page of all. I learned about this from 4chan even, because somebody posted about, I think on B, or fucking yeah, I think it was on B, where somebody just posted about fucking fucking uh, um the wolf chick who had the soul of a guy inside her. So she was trans,
Mm.
but but she was like double trans, because there's a female. She had a female body, but there's a man's soul inside her. But she was going through heat, so her cunt hole needed to be fucking ripped by fat, juicy cocks, and the Bassetin, who's like basically a rabbit guy. He's I have this page saved to my hard drive. Hold on. I have to fucking all right, send photo. Good thing I fucking opened up my webcomics folder. I'm sure I have a Two Kinds folder. Where is it? Fucking legit privilege, Mega Tokyo, My Life with Fell, Onion Kelly, Penny Arcade, Peter is the Wolf. That's a good comic. Pleb Comics, Princess High Ground, Questionable Content. Come on, I gotta have two. Oh yeah, here we go. Tails gets trolled. Tom Preston, Andrew Dobson. Two kinds. Oh, here it is. Oh fuck, I have a ton of pages. How the fuck am I gonna find this shit? Oh yeah, wait. I have like fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages in the entire series. I'm sending this to both of you, I guess. There's fucking 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. Okay, 4. 5
Good
to
lord.
click. So, oh, fuck, not send file, send photo, damn it. I think this is, okay, I hope I didn't just already send this one already. I don't even know which ones I'm sending. I don't even know what pages these are. Oh,
I
yeah,
seem to
this
remember the
is
art being
fucking,
better in this. Were these like really early?
these are old as fuck, yeah. You know what, the art has actually gotten better in this, but the fucking, yes, this guy who has a fucking Trix body is going through heat. And fucking, for some reason, nobody else but me was just very taken by the part where he mentions Bassetton never gets sick. And it's like, oh, like Jesus? And so I fucking was like, have you heard the good word of the Bassetton? You know they never get sick, right? It's just wonderful. And so he walks in and this guy in this bitch's body just wants to get her whole wrecked. Her whole wrecked. And he fucking and it's just that typical anime shit where it's like, oh, I fucking won't fuck the shit out of you, even though you're a fucking sexy ass attractive woman.
You know, I
It's
never
that
watched too much of Ranma.
Yeah, yeah, it's Ranma or fucking Tenchi, that kind of shit, which was just agony. I remember watching that and being like, "Oh, people talk about how this is so great and it's just fucking entertaining," and I watched it with such intense hatred. Not even beforehand, but just from watching it, I was like, "This is the dumbest shit ever. It's not funny. It's not interesting." I hated it. I hated it, and also my brother also hated it because it was just so pointless. It was just the most endless cock teasing, and that's what really this is. This is so clearly based off of that anime cock teasing bullshit. And it was just enraging to me because it's like I know they can fucking just draw tits and fucking girls getting giant tentacles pounded
And
so far up
you
their
can do
ass.
a cock tease, but it's got to pay off.
Yeah, it has to either pay off or it has to have a point to it, which it never had a point to it in Tenchi or Ranma or any of that. I mean, it was supposed to be for humor, and I can't put enough quotes around the word humor, so I won't even try. But fucking, yeah, that's what this so clearly is, and it's just also the way he draws the blush lines going off the fucking face, just like fucking they're existing in the fucking eighth dimension. You should
Also,
fucking
the horizontal blush lines
yeah, it's
when
just
there's no
so
hatching on the rest of it.
anime. Oh, I want to fucking just punch this comic. I've been tempted to punch my monitor. I think I have punched it once, and it's from watching fucking Two Kinds. Just this fucking and this was also one of the first comics where people responded to our fucking shitty webcomics blog with pure hatred. It's like, ugh, you don't understand this comic's very fun.
It's even hated by the furries themselves.
Yeah, it's fucking like I think I fucking tried to inform Forge of this, and he was just like, "What?" He just couldn't even wrap his head around it because I mean he wasn't familiar with it. It's more popular on like DeviantArt than fucking Fur Affinity even, and it's sad that I would even know that. But oh fuck, um, yeah, that's just like so yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't even heard it because I think I had liked a picture from it. Yeah, it was like I had liked a picture from it that popped up on Tumblr.
Yeah, the guy
And
fucking
instead
drew a
of giving
lot of
me shit for
cheesecake
like
and stuff. His art did get better as far as that kind of goofy ass shit, where he drew like generically furry like cheesecake stuff. So you wouldn't assume anything from seeing it, but if you read the actual comic, it's just like balls to the wall retarded anime shit. It's like worse than Tank, if such a thing is even possible, which is pretty bad. But fucking, it's like
At
Tank.
least Tank accepts the porn aspects.
Yes, that's what this comic is. It's like if that kind of anime where it's like, oh no, this girl's naked and her tits are bouncing around and her fucking asshole was accidentally exposed to this other character in humor. No, it's not supposed to be porn. Ugh, that's my fucking response. But yeah, fucking Two Kinds, which I devoted an entire folder. Yeah, I should probably delete it, except it's clearly come in handy on this day. But yeah, this like it's just like 9-page story that just it resonated so strongly with me, which well, I'm gonna get back to this, but for now I have to I want to get the other Burra, but are you still playing
Well,
Miggles
hold on.
5?
What other fucking? Yeah, I had to switch missions, but yeah, I took the fucking Mickey's Big Mouth.
You have it? You have that fucking gas piece of shit.
Yeah, I was gonna drink it, but
You know what? Let me finish that. I'll drink that fucking piece of shit, but I have to
Alright.
go back.
Okay, then what are we gonna talk about?
I don't know.
Talk about something. I guess we could talk about Star Trek.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's talk about Star Trek. Yeah, Enterprise, I guess. Did you watch many of the SF Debris reviews? Are they not talking what the fuck's going on?
Um, I believe, yeah, I've watched a bunch of the Enterprise reviews. I've probably seen more Enterprise reviews than I've seen episodes of Enterprise
Mhm.
on
It,
SF Debris.
it is a much more preferable way to watch Enterprise and Voyager. That's actually the thing is, yeah, I never watched. It actually got me watching Enterprise because the Xindi arc is actually pretty decent. The rest of the show is still fucking atrocious, but the show started to actually improve in season 3.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about how season 4 would have been amazing, but how
Mhm.
they were going to get like the Enterprise was gonna get a hull on it, and so it was gonna look more like the Enterprise. But I don't know.
Yeah, they seem to be kind of. That should have been where they were leading at since fucking season 1. I honestly never really saw the point of doing that, of making a prequel Enterprise, but it seemed like it was interesting, and then and then it just turned into kind of the same problem Voyager had, which was just a continuation of TNG. They actually even named the production number for Voyager episodes even was based on the production numbers. The first season of Voyager was 801 because they literally just considered it to be the next season of TNG,
TNG.
and
Did
that
they actually
was
use scripts that they were originally going to use for TNG for it?
yeah. Although
Hmm.
the worst part was that some of those scripts could only be Voyager because that's when they introduced the stupid ass Kazon and shit like that, which was just the worst villain ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the worst part is that the episodes that they clearly made for TNG or for Voyager were even worse.
Oh, they're painful. I think Twisted, SS Debris gave a worse review to than Threshold, and Threshold's considered the worst episode
I
of Star
think he
Trek.
gave Threshold a
Oh,
0,
he gave it a 1.
but
Which
yeah,
one was Threshold again?
It was the one where they travel faster than Warp 10, and they
Oh,
turn
right.
into salamanders.
Paris fucks Janeway Salamander. Yeah.
Yes.
he
Which
totally
he gave
raw
that a 1
dogs her.
because it had the unintentional fucking hilarity factor, as opposed to like something like Twisted or He Who Cast the First Stone or some of the other shit, where didn't have any unintentional hilarity factor. It was just painful. Um,
But yeah, Twisted is just so yeah. Twisted, the big crime with that is that it's fucking unwatchable.
it is Twisted. Whoa.
It's Twisted how fucking shitty that episode is. Holy
It's pretty
shit.
bad.
What was the episode of Voyager where they get stuck in like the virtual reality where all the people are frozen and the fear entity is like preying on them?
Well, that was actually one of the better episodes, according
Yeah,
to
he actually
SF
gave that
Debris.
one a 10. I
But it's like he
remember.
always uses Janeway at the end, going like, "I know."
Yes.
Yeah,
is
which
yeah
is
that
great. It's just how he loved how sadistic she was. It's almost like a fucking great character moment for her because it's actually defining, but
I
it's
love
not
his
in a
impression of
good way.
Janeway. Like every time he does it, it
Yeah, the
cracks me up.
fucking
The
she's like
Marlboro
a
Man,
genocidal maniac.
the
Yes,
Marlboro Man voice, or yeah, the fucking every time she talks, she has
she's
the
trying to.
vocal timbre of the Marlboro Man.
Yeah, she has the plans to like enact some genocide or something.
A sadistic Catherine Hepburn.
Yeah, insane Janeway,
Yes.
crazy Janeway, or she's just an evil villain.
Yeah, it's like the parody version of her from that one episode. That was actually a good episode where like the doctor wakes up and it's like 500 years later, and it's like an like an archived copy of a program that some people just find, and like here's how the fucking Voyager ruined our society, and and then the doctor's like, no, here's how it actually happened, and people are like, oh, people are gonna be fucking freaked out when they find out the true story of how this shit happened. And so they try to bury it and it turns into this big fucking cultural fucking mess.
But the
And
point is that they recreated Voyager so that Janeway's her opening line is like, "When all other means fail, there's only one alternative: violence. It's the
that's
Starfleet way." And she's wearing black murderer gloves. It's
yes,
great.
choking gloves.
But yeah, in particular though, early Voyager. See, there's other good episodes of Voyager, and he's actually really his fucking reviews. SF Debris reviews are really funny, but they're also really fair.
They're really
Yeah.
insightful, which I think is the most important thing. That's why, like, I would consider him different from Red Letter Media's reviews, which are really funny and insightful too. But like, and they both have a heavy dose of critical analysis, but Red Letter Media's reviews are much funnier, whereas opposed to SF Debris, his reviews are more about the critical analysis, and he'll do some goofy ass jokes and shit sometimes. But I think the critical analysis is the most important part of his reviews.
Well, SF Debris, I think, gets a bit more into the uh, philosophies going on, whereas Red Letter Media tends to be a bit more on the technical level of making films and the technical ideas behind
SF
writing.
Debris also doesn't really get hung up on like nitpicking. I've rewatched some of the Plinkett reviews for
Yeah, they're very nitpicky.
Star
I think
Trek.
But
I think
they even kind of
intentionally.
makes fun of themselves for
Yeah,
nitpicking.
the
So,
joke is how much it nitpicks.
like when he's like talking about how like they suddenly had a lighting budget on the Star Trek movie, so everything got darker,
Yeah.
with, and then he basically goes like, "I don't like things that are different."
Arl is the exact opposite of the Star Trek fucking concept.
Yeah.
Also, when fucking like all of a sudden one of these Star Trek extras would show up as with his own criticisms, and he was like, "What are you doing? You're not even from this world."
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Just fucking like having an argument with himself. Essentially, it's just ridiculous. Those are good though. Those are the good old days. Those are the days of the gun. I still love every review, every video that fucking Red Letter Media puts out. I love their new reviews, their new fucking
Yeah,
the
kind of enjoying Half in the Bag and Best of the Worst more than I did the Plinkett reviews.
yes, because especially because there's more of them and they're really funny. The latest Half in the Bag is really funny. There's especially the ridiculous shit that they do where they're fucking they're on Mount Everest and
It's
there's
amazing to
like
me, like how much they're able to keep bringing things back to the status quo, no matter how fucking
it's
ridiculous
like, oh
things.
no, we have to go fix Plinkett's VCR again, and
Yeah.
he's on the top of Mount Everest, and they're just sitting there with like
Well,
the
let's
fucking
go
movie
climb Mount
props.
Everest, I guess.
Yeah, we'll go climb. Yeah,
And
they're like,
then
oh, this isn't hard at all. This is pretty easy.
they review the movie Everest, which is
Yes,
about people who died climbing Mount Everest.
and they even include like some of the pictures of the fucking guys.
The
Oh, here's
fucking guy who lost his nose.
yeah, that was like fucking horrific to
And
look
they
at
brought
because it
up
looks like his face was about to rot off and like break off. I'm like, ew, gross.
that movie Alive with
I've still never seen that actually.
it's all right.
Well, particularly, what's the one
Got
thing that they explain about the movie Alive in that review?
he eats that guy's butt.
They start with eating the
Like
butt.
the slow zoom into his face as he looks into the camera. Just like sort of like when he said, "Oh, the shocker." I thought the shocker would want to do something else, and then all the audio drops out of the review, and he just stares into the camera as everything's silent for like 2 seconds, and then
the
back.
Spider-Man 2 review.
Yeah, that's for the Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 review. It's so great. You never see that in any other. You know what though? Very similar. Well, not very similar, but sort of similar. Actually, not sort of similar at all. But they're both referenced in. They're both slammed in a tweet from who wrote fucking Chronicle.
Max
Max
Landis.
Landis. Max Landis. He slammed Red Letter Media and I think the guy's Twitter's too gay to lift, but his fucking account is yourmoviesucks.org. And he does a lot of reviews, and
Yeah,
his
I watch
reviews are
his
really
stuff,
good
too.
too. Yeah, I subscribe to him, and I really like his
Somebody
stuff.
actually submitted one of his videos to us of I
Yeah,
think
on
Jupiter
Shitty Web.
Ascending.
Yeah, I think I watched that.
And,
It was
on
also
Shitty Webcomics.
Jupiter Ascending. I think, or maybe I've submitted that, or I fucking embedded that in a fucking thing because I saw it. But yeah, that was an excellent review of his review of Jupiter Ascending of just how stupid it was, and he like slammed it worse than Red Letter Media did, which is like, oh, fucking great. And I like that. I like that sort of other perspective. And he's been doing these giant dissections of Synecdoche, New York, which I watched, and it's like his reviews make me want to watch it again because of all the fucking like subtext and all the hidden shit in it.
Yeah,
It's
his
like,
review was enough for me. I was like, man, that movie looks really depressing.
yeah, it does. But you know what's funny is that he doesn't show the humor in it. Like he's shown some of the parts in it that are like depressing, but they're actually funny in
Hmm.
the movie, in the context of the movie. But you can't really tell that they're funny in his review, which is weird.
I
But
guess he thought like I don't know, it would be something that would be better just revealed in the.
yeah, he's just like a discussion of the whole thing. Here is, by the way, I'm sending you, for no reason, a few of the the first ever pictures of Laylee ever to exist, which are fucking. I had to draw myself.
Oh, she was way more cute back then.
Yeah, it was like the way I had to draw it. And you know what? It's funny. You're right. You mentioned like the hair fang between her eyes, and like, no, I think that someone else did that in the art things. But now that I'm looking at it, it's like, oh wait, no, I did that.
It always was iconically hers.
Yeah, the only important part I considered was the sort of stitching on the suit, which I made actually bigger, like actual individual pieces of the suit were bigger, but it's like it works so well in any interpretation. It's kind of great. And then let's see. I have fucking
She's got the wool too at the ankles.
yeah. You see the actual fur, and then here's like the first picture of fucking Thomas that I ever did, which is like borderline chibi. But it was like I had a very big problem with drawing heads way bigger than the rest of the body.
I still have that problem.
But like if you see this picture that I just sent, this was considered normal for me. It's like, oh, he looks normal, but no, it's not. It's like way. But I wouldn't call it chibi exactly, not in the traditional style. But I was trying to actually draw it in that anime style, so it looks a little. I wouldn't say even fucked up because I was like satisfied with this drawing. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And this is not available anywhere on the internet. It's only available on this fucking Skype chat. But I was just scrolling through some of the old folders I have, I was like, oh, here's fucking the first drawing of Laylee, and it's like available nowhere. So it's like all these old drawings I have of like practice of my attempt to fucking draw shit, because I was looking for something very specific that I just mentioned. Oh yeah, that's right. It was about the fucking Basseton. I
Uh,
could probably find that somewhere very easily if I just fucking look for it again. All right, now I have to look for fucking Basseton. Oh fuck, I spelled it wrong. Okay, that should be right. But it has to searching, and it's fucking gonna take forever.
I feel all honored I had the first drawing of Lily.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because the first drawing was from me because I had to like make some example to send to other artists to be like, this is what I kind of wanted to look like. But if you want to see the first commission I ever got of her, it's very weird because you'll see it. Let me see. I can find it very easily because it's actually easier to find. Commissions lately. That's where I fucking find it. And I know exactly where to look for it because it's kind of the one that stands out the most. Yeah, here it is. And it's from someone who is not actually used to drawing this kind of shit. So it looks a little bizarre, but also works. I was able to use it as a reference to send to other artists after that. Especially
Don't
with like a
recognize the
description.
artist.
His name is Cursed Marked. he's
Okay.
he's hold on a second. Let me send you something else that's more in tune with the usual kind of stuff that he would draw. Which fucking folder should I go into though? That's the real question. Hold on a second though. Alright. What the fuck? Oh no! Here it is. Here it is. This one especially is fucking. It has to load up. Or it has to load up. Let me finish this at Mickey's big mouth first. But this is more in tune with the kind of stuff he would draw. And it is very good.
There we go. Ah, yeah, I got you.
You may recognize this because I think I did post.
I seem to remember this on Shitty Web Comics.
Yeah, I posted it. I think more than once on Shitty Webcomics. He's wearing the Santa hat, and he's pending.
He's going, I'm so strong.
He has. Oh, that's. Well, you know, I've got other fucking commissions of the. And that was something that fucking Forge always thought was funny. Was I love being strong.
I love being strong. That's
What the fuck is that? What?
Yeah, the classic, the
Oh.
furry comic, which we remember from the Gazora. Is it Gazora or was it General Grin edit?
No, it was Gazora. Wait, where is it? Because I have this. Oh yeah, it's this. And then now, okay, I have that, and then I have to find this one page of a certain comic that I fucking. My folders are kind of.
I like he has a shotgun strapped around his back.
I was like, oh, I want him with a shotgun, but it didn't have any purpose.
Because
To
what's
it.
better than a werewolf? Is a werewolf with a shotgun.
Not a werewolf, but a tauren in this
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
That's right. He was Tauren Hunter because
Well, yeah, he was a tauren hunter. It was supposed to be a mix of our wild cows. Where's the fucking? Okay, hold on. Because there's something else that's even better. That I actually drew myself. And where the fuck is it? I think it's earlier in this, right? Yeah, I'm trying to fucking sort through my own. This fucking dead comic, which again I won't discuss it because we can't. Oh, this isn't later than this, isn't it? This fucking comic. Boy, when I read back to this is really good, but in a way that like no one else can understand or comprehend.
Those are the best comics.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's how I intentionally wrote it. It was like I don't want anyone to get this, because if I do, then I failed at my job. I want people to look at this with confusion and rage. I want to people to look at this and be like, "What the fuck is this supposed to be?" Oh yeah, here it is. Oh wow, it's posted on her birthday. Well, how did I forget that? Well, whatever. This one though, here you go. Fucking the second panel, especially the second panel in this one. But also the first, I like how I did the first panel because the first panel is just like information dump, just a bunch of boring text. But then I drew it with like Doom Guy. But then the second panel also is just fucking great, and then the third panel is just a reaction shot of like a bunch
Third
of kids.
panel is the audience.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It is literally the audience being like, "What? What?" But yeah, the second panel is
Like, you have to mark the tie, or else people will think it's a hot dog coming out of his arm.
Yeah, or like part of his body or something. It's like, what the fuck is this? So I had to be like, tie. That's great. Fuck. I had a lot of fun drawing this fucking dumbass piece of shit comic. Fuck. Yeah, and that was, in a way, this was from before when I was actually, this was from before I started trying to write scripts. Like, I wasn't even writing scripts at this point. I would barely even write a text file of like, here's ideas for pages, and then I would just draw a bunch of them in like sequence, sort of, and whatever came to mind. Sometimes I would do them in like a fucking okaki, and then and eventually I started doing them in like Photoshop or Paint Tool Sci, especially after I bought a tablet, which is now, the tablet's still alive, but the pen is dead, which it was dead because it got all gummed up with fucking hand jizz or whatever the fuck. It was
You might be able to buy, what is it, a Intuos or a bamboo?
Fuck no, it was a bamboo Zero. It was like one of those $50 bamboos that they sold at the most rock bottom prices humanly possible.
You could probably just get the pen somewhere super cheap.
I tried looking it up, like bamboo pen, and it cost about the same as what I paid for the whole fucking tablet.
Jeez. Okay.
It's one of those fucking things where, you know, the pen stand, you can screw it open and it will have like spare pen nibs. And it's like incredible. So I fucking screwed mine open. Nothing was in it. How much of a cheap piece of shit it was. It was depressing to find out. But yeah, so that's the nature of it. And you know what? After all this, that whole page I had open of the reason ISIS just slaughtered 150 females couldn't be more despicable. I still haven't read the article. I don't know what the reason is.
I'd like to hear the good reasons for it.
What's the good reason?
You really need any more explanation than
yeah, they let them try to vote.
Of course.
ISIS has gained a reputation for being one of the most barbarous organizations on the face of the planet. Oh, that's very, very judgmental. A UN panel in 2014
stopped reading.
Said that ISIS atrocities amount to war crimes. Well, they just figured this out in 2014 after Obama's been president for like over a term. They're just figuring out that ISIS atrocities amount to war crimes. Something must have added up there. Basing its conclusions on more than 300 first-hand accounts. Oh, is that what it took? Not fucking, like fucking not Ken McKeon's fucking Republic of Fear. That's not what it took. Which was written in the fucking 80s. But fucking 300 first-hand accounts in 2014. That's what it took for the UN to finally be like, oh, Bush isn't president anymore. We'll fucking all of a sudden condemn ISIS. Now we'll do
safe
it.
Then. Safer, at least. Although now it's probably less safe because you'll get accused of being racist or something. I don't know.
By Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah.
Zoe Quinn, especially.
Anita the snake.
Anita the
I
snake.
was reading something on Poll about
You were
Zoe
reading
Quinn.
Paul?
It happens. It's like looking at a car wreck. but
Yeah, I understand that.
uh, Zoe Quinn was refuting what the UN was saying about like
Yeah,
trying to censor the internet, and I
Zoe
was like,
Quinn isn't happy about what the UN is doing. It's like
Didn't they back off on
aren't
she,
they doing
fucking
exactly
report?
what they were asking
yeah,
them to do?
exactly. If anything, the UN isn't going far enough for their fucking demands.
Well, what did they think they were asking for? I
Censorship. Total censorship of the world.
Well,
They wanted
apparently it's something
censorship.
that she didn't understand.
Oh, no kidding.
Who would have thought?
She doesn't
She
understand.
doesn't understand.
Expect that from such a what was it a such a simple creature.
You mean a silly people, a little people.
When you talk about Q.
Yeah.
Q is talking about humans, or Lawrence of Arabia talking about the Arabs. I mean, in a way, you know what's funny is that Ford was talking about like, oh, the movie or whatever makes them look like they're actually better than they are. It makes Lawrence look a little crazier than he is. But if anything, the movie makes it look like it's just a region that's such a disaster area you shouldn't even bother with. But I mean, on the other hand, they're like still people. Like if you look at the Kurds and what the Kurds like the Peshmerga and the YPJ and the YPG.
Especially for a movie from like 1964, it's pretty fucking even-handed.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they were trying to do, but it still has that level of judgmentalness that's not wrong. It's just like
It's
here's
great.
yeah, it's great. It's a great movie. Um, and I kind of wish that people could still make movies like that today. If they did, though, the Peshmerga and the YPG and the YPJ would come off as, of course, the true heroes of the region that are being ignored right now. Like Three Kings. I almost still have to wonder how the fuck that movie even got made because that's the movie about the current Iraq situation that should be getting made today, and the situation's still the same, but it's not.
Well, the first Gulf War wasn't quite as negatively taken as
Yeah, because it wasn't as fought against. It was still the same situation ultimately, but it wasn't as fought against. Whereas opposed to Bush, people just hated Bush so much more that anything Bush was involved with, which is a very historical irony because the invasion of the Iraq War that happened in 2003 was actually signed off on in 1998 by Clinton, by President Clinton. He was like, okay, we're fucking Iraq has broken every last fucking thing that the UN has set against them. We have the UN Charter actually says we have to step in and stop the genocide, stop the fucking chemical warfare, all that shit.
well,
All
all
that
during
shit's
Clinton's
in there.
presidency. It just seemed like Saddam would always be like poking where he wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, it was like
And
more
then
of like a
there would be an
distraction.
airstrike, and then you wouldn't hear anything more about it for like a few months, and then it would happen again.
Yeah, that's
You know,
that's the Democrat solution is send an airstrike, and that's again what we've been seeing with Obama is that he'll fucking fire off a drone strike, and people say it's like oh he's sending drone strikes against American citizens, and I have a feeling that that's not even the truth. Like I don't even like Obama, but I have a feeling those drone strikes against supposed citizens are really against people who were planning the next 9/11 or worse,
hmm
and that we're never going to learn the true story, which is fucked up, which again fucking the supposed transparency of the fucking Obama administration, that's never going to happen. But
I don't blame people for being paranoid, though.
yeah, exactly. People should be constantly fucking trying to pick apart the government's fucking motivations. But Let's see here. Now Iraq's Ministry of Human Rights has claimed that ISIS murdered 150 women for refusing to marry or perform sexual acts with the terrorists. And this is the fucking it's despicable, but this is really just run of the mill for fucking ISIS or really any of like the Muslim Brotherhood,
Yeah,
Al
they definitely
Qaeda.
have done a lot worse.
Yes, they've done worse than this, and this is just run of the mill for them. But this is just a fucking recent story.
It's kind of like with that Boko Haram thing.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
the
Bring
president's
back our
wife.
girls.
Yeah, the president's wife got involved.
But they were killing men more than they were killing
They
women.
killed all the boys, but the women got kidnapped and sold in slavery in a country where that kind of shit happens all the time.
And for some reason, we took notice this time for
Yeah,
those girls.
because she held up a sign that said, "Bring back our girls," and
Yeah,
that was
which they're
like,
not our girls,
yeah, they're
but they're
fucking.
girls, therefore they're more important than all the boys who are getting killed or sold into slavery, just being murdered.
But Len Kabazinski followed me on Twitter the other day,
Shit.
which I hope he unfollowed me by now. It's like all the shit I revlog that's really just about fucking anti-feminism and that kind of shit, or whatever the fucking repost shit. It's like I like Len Kavinsky actually. In fact, I own two of his movies. I own Fist of the Vampire and Curse of the Wolf, which are not good movies. I've seen both of them, and they're shitty movies. But I own both of them, and I'm kind of glad I do. But Len Kavinsky recently released a movie. I think it's a sequel to fucking Warriors of the Apocalypse called like Women of the Apocalypse or some shit. And Red Letter Media has a commentary track on the DVD. And
Really?
because they do, and Red Letter Media fucking retweeted this thing saying, "Oh, Red Letter Media did a commentary track on this movie." And I'm like, well, fuck, I want to fucking buy this movie, even though it's probably a shitty movie. I didn't say that, probably because it's a shitty movie. But it's like, I want to buy this movie now because Red Letter Media did a commentary track. I love their commentary tracks. And especially for like a Len Kabazinski movie, which his movies are still entertaining because they're just so fucking. They're like
They're pretty terrible.
yeah, they're like if you fucking had a bunch of weird people just record some dumb shit on a fucking camcorder. That's pretty much what Lem Kabazinski movies like. It doesn't have directional microphones. There's no boom mics. It's just like here's the mic that's fucking connected to the actual camcorder. So if the camcorder's not pointed at the person's mouth, you're not going to hear what they're saying. But fucking um so yeah, that's what his movies are like, but I kind of like appreciate just the dumb cheapness of it. And especially Red Letter Media's appreciation of it. I still love that episode where it's like their Halloween episode where they reviewed three movies. The first one was something just completely forgettable. The second was called Trick or Treat, which is a dumb title for what looks like a great movie because it has fucking Ozzy Osbourne in it as a preacher who gets killed through the television.
I
It just
think I
fucking
remember that movie.
yeah, it's fucking. I want to see that movie. I've never seen it, but I've seen the fucking episode a bunch of times. And then after that, they reviewed Skull Forest by Lem Kabazinski, which was such a special occasion. They had to like give the fucking best of the worst to that. Even though I think Jay said Trick or Treat was his best, and I'm Trick or Treat. That was the one with the fucking Showbiz Pizza Bear showing up with,
Yeah,
which was a
that
reference
was
to
great.
Dick the Birthday Boy. Don't mind if I do. Fucking, which had Showbiz the Pizza Bear, and fucking all of a sudden they were freaked out, and so the end where they
So
tried
do
to
you think
ban
something
something.
bad might happen?
Is something bad going to happen? Yes. That was their answer, and it's just that's a great episode. That's still a great episode. There's also the episode where like Mike Stoklasa dressed up as Spock, and so like when they do the discussion at the end, is like around a fake fucking electronic campfire with like a fake log that's made of plastic, and the one last seat is empty, and there's like, oh, where's Mike? And all of a sudden he like beams in because and he's like, I beamed in because of Star Trek, and fucking Rich Evans, who's the greatest, says, yeah. We get it. And it's just, they don't give a shit. It's just like, yeah, whatever. It's just
Everything
fucking,
doesn't have to be a Star Trek
which is just part of the
Not
joke, of
everything has
course.
to be about Star Trek, you know.
Not
And
everything has to be
one
about
of the
Star Trek.
later half of the bag
It was
reviews, he
no, you
just
know what?
starts going on an entire thing about
Oh
this
yeah,
Star Trek TNG episode,
well,
just
no wait.
doing a synopsis of the whole
There was like two
episode.
of them. One was their review of Age of Ultron, and then I think right after that was their review of the Star Wars Holiday Special Part 1, where they don't talk about Star Wars the Holiday Special. They just talk about like a bunch of other random shit, including Ishtar, the trailer for Ishtar. They show the entire trailer for Ishtar, which is like 3 minutes long.
it's just so god awful.
Yes, I almost want to see the
They
movie.
show the whole trailer and then they start playing it again
Yeah, they
at some
showed they
point.
start showing the whole trailer again, but they cut it off like as a gag. But and they talk about Star Trek a lot. But before that was Mike Sokolowski talking quite a lot about Star Trek: The Next Generation when they were talking about fucking Age of Ultron, and just like a slow zoom to Jay Ballman's face, like he's like, "Ah, it's fucking Star Trek shit." But especially before that was the review for Looper and Dread. We're like right in between both movies. He, it was Mike who mentions that Bruce Willis looks like the fucking the Admiral Paris from Star Trek Voyager, and he did actually because they're both like bald and smooth foreheads, and fucking Jay's like, "Why are you talking about Star Trek? Not everything has to do with Star Trek." And then all of a sudden the phone rings, and Mike picks it up. It's like, "Oh, hello, Topper's Pizza." Oh, yeah. is was fucking who was it who was delivering
Was it
their
Rick
pizza?
Berman?
Rick. Oh, is this Rick Berman? You're going to be delivering our pizza? Yes, we do tip, no matter what your records say. Rick Berman's delivering our pizza. He used to produce Star Trek, but now he's delivering pizzas.
He's
It's
delivering
just,
pizzas now? Wow, that's sad.
yeah, it just turned into this whole huge bit just out of nowhere. And it was so fucking great because it also shows like Mike Stoklos's like obsession with Star Trek, which I understand because I watched as much Star Trek as he did. So it's like I would almost be able to join in, or not almost. I would absolutely be able to join in on any of his discussions on fucking Star Trek, no matter how shitty it was. Just fucking,
And
especially the episodes with Admiral Paris were actually the ones with Reginald Barclay, where fucking who's one of the greatest fucking characters in TNG history, and he showed up in Voyager, where he wasn't quite as good, but he was still pretty like decent, like he had an actual character arc and shit. Every episode with Reginald
Well,
Barclay
some
in
of the
Voyager
best
was great.
episodes of Voyager. He's too good.
Yes,
He was too good, almost too good for Voyager.
too good for this world. Perfect cinnamon bun for this world. But yeah, because the episodes with him and Voyager, I think the first one was with the actual Dr. Zimmerman, who was just a cunt, which was great because he was like the original programmer
That's
for the
great.
Doctor,
That's
the
great.
holographic Doctor. This is gonna be great. And he was like Dr. Zimmerman was just a dick, and he was like, "Oh, I don't give a shit about anything." And fucking all this shit, and they were actually finally able to communicate with the Alpha Quadrant and that shit, and fucking Barkley showed up because of course with all his fucking obsession with the holodeck, he was a fucking expert on holographic shit, which is great. It's a great advancement of the character and his character art because on TNG he was basically the Star Trek fanboy character, and he was a loser and he was a fucking dork, and he but he was also like on the holodeck. He was the coolest dude ever. He was the self-insert Mary Sue. It was the first Mary Sue ever to happen in actual television history
Dwight
forever.
Schultz is pretty awesome too.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
great
he's a
actor.
legitimately good actor. He was also
Yeah,
on the A Team.
yeah, he was
Yeah,
on the 18.
Murdoch.
He was Murdoch, Howlin' Mad Murdoch, and also he was in the fucking 18 movie in a
He had a
cameo.
cameo.
After like it was like a credit cookie cameo, but still he showed up there, and it was just great to see him. I was like, oh shit, there's fucking Barkley. It's funny because I knew him more as Broccoli than as fucking Howlin' Mad Murdoch because I didn't really fucking give a shit about the A Team. But Star Trek TNG, he was such a great character, so perfectly cast. Because not only was a stammering nerd like in his real life job, but then on the holodeck, he was like, "Ugh, here's to insubordination," and he punches out Riker and shit. It was, it was so great. It's one of the greatest episodes of TV in fucking history, still to this day. Um, I would recommend it to anyone on this planet if you want to see a great episode. If you've never watched any episode of Star Trek, go watch. It's called Hollow Pursuits, and I think it's season 4.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's three or
three.
yeah, it's either 3 or 4. I think it is 3, but it's called Hollow Pursuits, and it has fucking Reginald Barkley as this nobody loser who's obsessed with the holodeck. Which you really learn what the holodeck is. It's very obvious. It's just like a fake virtual reality thing that exists on these little individual rooms. It's funny. Also, it's sort of like fucking what's the Michael Crichton? They made a movie out of it with fucking Michael Douglas.
You mean Disclosure?
Disclosure, yes. They had fucking a fully realized VR world in Disclosure that you could walk in, and they actually describe. I remember in the book, like 2 things in the book is him describing trying to finger this fucking cunt, and she was dry, and I was like, what does that mean that she's dry?
Is that an actual element?
That's in the book. Yes, that's a fucking
Yeah,
actual
that's what I
detail in the
thought when
book.
I was reading it. It's like, oh, is this a part of sex?
Is this a
I
farce?
learned more about sex from reading Disclosure than
Which
I
is
ever
fine.
did
Yeah, because
in
I
sex
was 12.
ed.
I was 12 at the time. I was like, what does it mean that she's dry? But also, more importantly, is that they have this VR system that you can walk on, and it was like individual balls that your feet would slide across, and that somebody vomited on because of the fucking whole fucking
There was a lag delay in the
it wasn't
VR
just that, but
system.
it would just create this like mental like thing where it would make you just like fucking in real life where it would just make you so disconnected that you would get dizzy trying to disconnect your actual real life mind with a virtual reality visual interface that you would just get like sick physically. And like they talked about some people vomiting and having to take out the individual balls that you would walk on and clean the vomit out of them. It's in the book, and it's fucking incredible. It's like, oh, Michael Crichton, you've done it again after Jurassic Park and fucking Terminal Man and all that shit. That kind of detail that he would put in, that was so he actually gave a shit about the science of the shit he was
And
writing.
the
Yeah, he
whole
did a lot of
reason.
research. I mean, there was an awful lot of technical details in Jurassic Park they left
Yeah,
out too.
like he cared about that kind of. Yeah, that's why like when I saw the movie Jurassic Park, I was like, oh, they left out this great scene and this great scene and this great scene. Why did they do that?
Yeah, John Hammond actually gets fucking. Is it John Hammond? He gets killed by
He
fucking
gets his fucking
the tiny ones.
yeah, his intestines are torn open and
Yeah.
he's like
He's
eaten
eaten by the
alive.
compies.
Yeah, the
The
compies.
compies.
They're
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
eaten
The
alive.
compies aren't even in the other fucking movie.
Yeah, he's actually alive. Like when they fucking talk about in the movie, they are alive. You are alive when they eat you. He's actually alive, and his intestines are spilled out. It's like, no way, that's not.
I think you're thinking of Nedry. Because Nedry is the one that got killed by the
Yeah,
Dilophosaurus, and he got blinded. And then he it describes how he's like, I'm feeling something wet in my hands, and then he's realizing it's his intestines.
yeah. I think
know,
there's a couple people though.
And the
so-
Hammond was, when the compies were like poisonous,
Yeah,
the
that's
books,
right.
and he
The
got
copies
sort
would
of
actually put you to sleep
yeah.
with
But
a
I think,
bite.
but I think that's what happened to him was like he was asleep but still alive, and his intestines were spilled out, and they were just kind of
Well, then
chewing
in
on
the movie, he
casually.
actually survives.
Yeah, he survives because in the movie you can't hate him that much.
Yeah, he was a bit more of an asshole in the book than.
Yeah, but also like even if he wasn't an asshole in a book, you can put that kind of thing in where somebody who's nice or casual or neutral will just get violently, brutally murdered. You can kind of almost accept that more in a book than in a movie. Whereas a movie has to be so strict to a formula, like. Even in like the almost last movie they did, ironically, was fucking Jaws, where Quint gets fucking he gets eaten by the shark, and you just feel terrible about it because like, oh, but he's a shark hunter, so in a way it's like a risk of the job as opposed to someone who's just completely like, say you're watching Mimic and the fucking chick in that gets fucking torn apart, and it's like, oh, that's be fucking disgusting. It would just leave such a sour taste in the viewer's mouth. You can't really
Mimic had the
do that.
balls to kill the kids, though.
Yeah, fucking, you can't like do that in a movie, unless it's such a fucking brutal dark movie, and it wouldn't be a PG-13 crowd pleaser.
Mm.
But it'd have to be rated R or some kind of shit like that. And even in a rated R movie these days, you couldn't exactly do that because people would be so put off by it. It'd be like, oh, it was really brutal and gross. Which you can understand. Like, say if you Dread, there's a bunch of kids in the movie Dread. If they got machine gunned to death, you'd be like, oh, what the fuck's with this movie? It's getting weird. But when you see like a bunch of other people getting
At the
fucking
same
blown,
time, though,
it's
people are
fun.
demanding that there be killable children in fucking Fallout,
Yes, exactly.
so
But
that
I
there's
mean,
actual mods.
yeah, they made mods to kill the kids of Little Lamplight or whatever the fuck.
All
That's
the
a
kids.
minority, though.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, it's the creepy minority. At the same time, though, I remember doing it in fucking Fallout, I think 2,
You
where
can.
they steal your
It's
fucking.
a
They'll
it's a trick
pickpocket
though.
you.
It's a trick though in Fallout 1 and 2.
I remember though they fucking steal. What the fuck?
You have to arm a live bomb in your pockets though. You basically have to set yourself up for suicide and hope that they pickpocket you so that they blow themselves up, and you don't get punished for it because it's a bug. Technically, it's like an exploit, but it's a fun exploit. And they in Fallout 3 they fix that by making sure that no kids ever are
But
able
I
to pickpocket.
specifically remember they stole something from me, and it's like, this is important. I need this back. So I try and steal it back. The kid starts running, and it's like, well, we know what has to happen now.
Yes, this has to happen now. But you can't actually shoot them, as I remember. I don't remember. Maybe you can shoot them. Can you?
Yeah, that's what I had to do. Is I had to go into combat and blow his fucking head off.
Oh yeah, but that's right. But it's considered like a negative karma thing in then. But if you arm a bomb and make them pickpocket it, it doesn't count as negative karma because it's like an exploit.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. It's gonna be
It's
great.
not your fault they stole your armed
Exactly.
bomb. You just wanted to blow yourself up.
They just, yeah, I was going to blow myself up, but they took this object, which becomes a neutral object once they pickpocket it. Hey, it's not my problem. Not my problem. Not my job. But fucking, that's what I have to say about that.
Mm.
Anyways, as far as, two kinds, and the glory of the Bassetin, who never gets sick, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know the glory of the Bassetin.
They never
The
get sick.
glory. The glory. Have you heard of the glory?
I
Have
haven't.
you heard the
Basset?
good news? Have you heard the good news about the Bassetin? No, they never get sick.
That is good news.
I actually have other fucking drawings I made of Bassetin, of like Bassetin being like, I never get sick because I'm
That's
a
the
Bassetin.
one thing I know about Bassetin.
Yeah,
If there's
literally.
one thing to know about Bassetin,
They
it's
never get
that.
sick. They're basically like gods. They're like gods. It's just
What the
such a
fuck?
ridiculous
But they're
detail.
stuck being little bunny people, though.
Yes, but it's funny because I think even 4chan never really fucking caught on to that, just how, like, Mary
Because they're
Sue that
so
is.
behind. They're so worthless. 4chan's just so
You almost
fucking.
have to, like, if you're gonna do that, you have to just embrace the Mary Sue of it. Be like, yep, the best, pretty much perfect. They're fucking, they never get sick, they never grow old, and they always eat oatmeal. They fucking, they're just so great. And they fucking turn into the thing. They're getting better. There's a noose hanging there right next to them, but hey, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. That's two. That was two references in a row to Wilfred Brimley. One was from The Thing, and one was from Cocoon.
That's right, where he's fucking gonna.
He's gonna hang himself, but then he's like, "Hey, I'm fine. I'm all right." Which
Can
was
I
The
come
only one I
out?
can think of is diabetes.
Oh, I love that fucking movie. So, you know what? I don't like horror movies at all. In fact, I like Halloween. I can appreciate how that's a great classic horror movie, but to me, it really kind of did nothing except for like some great shots, like when she's running across the street. It's like banging on people's doors, and you see fucking Michael Myers in the background, and he's like just walking after her, and it's like, oh man, that's a great shot, and that kind of shit. And like the other scene where like he sort of fades into view and like right behind her and shit. It was great. It was a good movie. It was still a good movie, but The Thing, consider like the pinnacle of
I always enjoy
movies.
pornography of violence.
Yes, the pornography of violence in the movie is just so great.
Thing is a great movie.
Yeah, because I don't even consider it a horror movie. It's just a movie about people who are trying to survive against something that's not possible to understand. It's just fucking wonderful. It's the way like the whole Cthulhuoid thing where it's something so unknowable that the human mind just breaks against it. That's like Wilford Brimley with the fucking noose hanging next to him, and he's like, "I'm fine, guys. You can let me out now." That is like I almost consider him like he hasn't been taken over by the thing yet. He's just fucking insane, and that's just how the human mind would react to such a
Well,
situation.
did you ever watch that collative learning thing that I linked to you about the guy going his breakdown of like who's being assimilated and who's not, and
Oh
how you
yeah,
can
yeah.
tell?
The wasn't that the Scottish guy?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I did. I
actually,
think there was like a two-parter, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, I watched that, and that was really good because I was like, my fucking assumption was that neither one of them was the thing, but he picked apart it like shot by shot so much that it became like so obvious that Childs was the thing at the end. It's like, oh fuck.
Well, the original ending, like they actually had Russell, freaking flamethrow him because I forget how it was that he figured it out. It
But
had
yeah,
something
like
to do
something
with the
he had
fact.
actually figured out, like some clue left behind.
Yeah,
And
but
there's also it's funny is also the thing had like torn his suit so that he left behind like the thing had left behind misleading clues to like confuse the other people, which was
yeah,
really
no,
interesting
wait, that wasn't the original ending. That was an ending that the studio wanted them to do, where they had done it
with the
and like
studio,
yeah, because it was kind of like the happy ending where he managed to figure it out and kill the thing.
which is what
But
happens in the video game when it's
yeah,
like, oh, he's alive, he's flying this helicopter, he can fucking firebomb this shit.
The
Mm.
video game, which we only know about because of the Spoonie review.
Yeah, the Spoonie's pretty good review of the Thing video game, which is buggy, unfortunately.
The thing about the thing is
The
that
thing.
if even one of its cells survives, which everybody was probably crawling with the thing,
Yeah, you
and
would
they were
think.
all probably like, if the more of it that gets on you, the more you're going to be sucked
Like,
in.
yeah, like a bacterial level, and also the fact that, like, if you just throw a stick of dynamite at it, you're probably just going to be splattered with it
I
and
think everybody
infected.
there was taken over. It was
Yeah,
just like a matter of time before
that's
they were
certainly
all
an ending I
eventually.
can accept, is that they were either neither of them were the thing, or they were both were. But if they both were, it was I was like almost like Well, how would they not know? But
Well,
it's
I'm saying that like I think even the people that weren't totally taken over yet were in the process of being taken over.
yeah,
They
like a
just didn't
slow
have
progress.
the cells were slowly in
Either
them.
way, it's such a great ending, sort of like Existence, where it ends with such like it's like, wait, are we still in the game? And then just hard cut to credits. It's like I don't want to know the answer. I just like that they're fucking with me at the. I like the way they're fucking with me. Usually, when an ending is like, oh, they're fucking with me, it can be annoying. But in like the thing in Existence, I like the way they're fucking with me, and I wish more movies would do it like that. It's just because it's really smart.
Yeah, as long as it's you can have an unhappy ending, but it needs to be satisfying.
Yeah, and the thing was satisfying, and Existence was. I would actually say Existence was more satisfying, but they're just like mastercraft fucking works of that era and just the time that they're made. Um, and I kind of wish I had watched more David Cronenberg movies because I heard that Eastern Promises was really good and that kind of shit, and I've
I
still never
saw
seen
that.
it.
It's all right.
Well, I still want to see it anyways, but fucking, I saw History of Violence, which was a good movie. I just like the movies that he makes, just, that he's making them about something, but not being like really cunty and obvious about it. Like, oh, here's a movie about how violence is bad. It's more of a movie. A History of Violence is about a movie with a guy who has a history of violence and how it just sort of affects the way his life continues instead of how it like it ruins everything. It's more just a continuation.
Well, that and like he was trying to go straight, and of course, all that shit just came back to haunt him, and he had
Yeah,
to go do a bunch of more violent shit to stop it.
to either stop it or continue it, but
Yeah,
most especially stop it. In a way, it's also like that scene in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. We've gone straight. Now what do we do? Where it's like they kind of weren't living really violent lives, and up until that point where they have to just gun down all these people all at once. And it's like so horrifying. It's like, what the fuck has to happen now? We don't even understand, and then they get fucking shot to death. But it's still sort of that like sardonic, sarcastic,
But that's actually they
romanticized.
don't get shot to death because in the fucking game, what was it Call of Juarez Gunslinger? You actually find out no, they lived, and then they get into a three-way
that's
duel
canon.
with the protagonist.
Yeah, which I heard, yeah, you have that game, and I have that installed, and you said that was really good, and it looked like a good game actually,
Yeah,
but
it
in a
is.
goofy kind of way. I mean, the movie was kind of a goofy movie too, in a fun way, which was the whole point of the Butch Cassidy and the Sundance movie. Is it's supposed to be funny. It's very quippy in a very early kind of sense. Like you don't expect it to be so like smartly written as far as the dialogue. It's like, oh shit.
I remember those extra credits people going really batshit angry at the Call of Juarez game. The
Well, some of those games sucked,
uh,
but
That
Gunslinger,
Gunslinger
Gunslinger was a good game.
was it
is that
Gunslinger
the
or one of
original
the?
one, the one in the old west, or was it the modern
Yeah,
one?
there's like five of them.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's been several of them. There's the Call of Juarez Bound in Blood, and then there's fucking modern one.
And there's just Call of Juarez.
the main one I remember was the one where you could read Bible verses to people, and it would like make them go, "Huh?"
Is that the
and they
one
could
with
shoot them.
that
I think that's one
ZP
too. I think that's the second
ZP
game.
reviewed, where it's like the fucking the Hispanic love interest who has that curious ability to almost get raped everywhere she goes?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Yeah, I think that was like the second one or something, wasn't it? I played the demo for the first one and I was like, yeah, this is stupid. And then there was a modern one where you fight the cartels, and I was like, eh. I heard that was really buggy and shitty.
Yeah, that was the modern one.
And then Gunslinger is one that's like a first-person shooter that's really tight, and it has a lot of quirks to it and like cool aspects to it, and it's very fucking well constructed, as opposed to all the other games that were pretty cheap. So yeah, I guess Gunslinger is the one that's. I still haven't played it, so but I'm fucking. I'm playing I've just started Transistor. I still have Shadowrun Returns. Here,
Transistor is a great game.
yeah,
I reviewed that on Shitty
yeah, it's really
Webcomics.
cool. I like it so
Yeah, I want
far,
to
but I
play
haven't
that.
played it all yet. Call of Ware's Gunslinger, Double Dragon Neon, I still haven't played. Dust and Elysian Tale, which I heard was good. Here's Ghostbusters, the video game, which Forge recommended. Half Minute Here, the Second Coming. I've card farmed it, and that's it. Killer is Dead, I wanted to play that. Legend of Korra game, I wanted to play that. Racketeer, I've played it fucking 8 hours, and I've like restarted the game 3 times. Here's the Shadow Warrior remake, which I card farmed, and fucking Torchlight 2, which I don't know if I'll ever fucking play it. Binding of Isaac Rebirth, I'm pretty sure I fucking actually bought the fucking DLC for that, so I'm waiting for that to come out, which is a month. I still have Castle Crashers fucking installed. I don't have anyone to play it with. Counter-Strike Global Offensive I play on a daily basis, which is sad. Someone's playing it right now on my friends list.
It's a game that we've hated forever.
Yes, CS:GO though is the most balanced form of the game. Like they actually put real work into every weapon in the fucking game to make sure that like even the cheapest piece of shit, like the cheapest gun in the game, um, well the cheapest gun in the game that you don't start with is the P250 pistol, which has huge penetration. If you hit someone in the head with it, you'll fucking just about kill them. But aside from that, is the Mac 10 submachine gun that again does it's a 45 caliber. It will do huge penetration. You can kill somebody who has an op with that like easily in the game, and that's so balanced because the op is like one of the most ultimate weapons in the game. But I've killed fucking oppers with the Mac 10. I've killed oppers with the fucking Nova. I've killed oppers with fucking the assault rifles have a lot of penetration damage, but like the SMGs are extremely balanced in the game. It's just fucking crazy that they've actually put that much consideration into the game. But it's also kind of like Call of Duty, where people will die in a few hits, and it's really about the tactics. But it's also very much about the aim. But a lot about tactics. And I kind of wish I had another good shooty game like that, but the fucking Call of Duty games recently just suck. And the other games that are ripping off Call of Duty also suck because they're so cheap and they're not very well balanced. And CS:GO is extremely well balanced and has tons of play. It still has millions of players, and for good reason because they really put a lot of work into it. And as much as I want to hate Counter Strike to this day, CS:GO not only has a lot of fun, but they added a deathmatch mode where you can just respawn, and it's a great way to practice the guns. And I remember even you were fucking playing CS:GO's deathmatch, and you fucking
Problem with
just
Counter Strike is there's just too many fucking goddamn super robots playing that game still.
yeah, that's especially in competitive. Like, and that's I've gotten to that point in competitive where you fucking turn a corner and you're already dead because somebody killed you with one single bullet to the head with an AK or an op or whatever. People are so fucking they're like fucking Spurgers where they fucking already know where you're going to come from, where to fucking fire before you show up, so that you literally just run right into their bullet, and it's just annoying and it's not fun. As opposed to at least Counter Strike or fucking Call of Duty is so much more fast paced. Really, I prefer fucking Titanfall for this kind of shit, where it's so much more fast paced and that kind of shit. But yeah, like Titanfall is built off that Call of Duty system where it's all fast paced, so you can't exactly predict where people are going to come from. But even if you can, like Titanfall adds the fucking whole wall running and double jumping and fucking all that shit, and then you can just jump into a mech if you really need to, and no one's going to be able to just kill you in one hit with a fucking mech. So yeah, there's all these fucking aspects of it, and I'm really hoping Titanfall 2 comes out soon. And the Battlefield games actually still, like they have those quick deaths, and that's kind of the magic of those games is that they have quick deaths, but that means you can kill somebody quick too. because otherwise you'd just fucking be destroyed with any gun. But at least, it's that sort of arcadey feel of like die respawn, that kind of shit.
Well, one of the things I noticed that's definitely different when it comes to CS that we never did or in the early days is that, you actually put in the fucking headset and you're communicating with the team and shit.
Yeah, I do that a lot where in competitive it's you benefit greatly if your team communicates with each other. If you're like, "Oh, I just spotted this guy over here." You fucking so everyone should go over here. It's like, but then the enemy team sort of figures that out, especially if they're good. So sometimes they'll send like ringers out. You throw out a ringer for a ringer,
Hmm.
and they fucking like create some noise and shit. So then the bomb will go in the other direction. It's really easy to fall for that because the other team has to be really fucking good to get away with trying to sneak a bomb over with only two or three people. And that's the trick of that. And so but it all requires communication and reporting where you've seen an enemy, like especially on Dust 2, which I used to get annoyed by, but now is kind of a great map because it's so tactical. It's like, oh, two crossed over mid, so that means that the majority of the enemy team is going to be on the A side, so let's all go B. And that's all tactical. And not only is it tactical, but it requires actual communication with your teammates that involves like chatting, communication, and people. Sometimes people will just chat casually. It'd be like, "Oh, I fucking just sold this gun skin," and that kind of shit. It's like, "I unboxed this. I got this goofy ass skin," and it's kind of fun to talk to your fucking teammates in that way, which is weird because I'm so used to being annoyed with Counter Strike that it's weird to jump into Counter Strike and like have a kind of a good, like, even if I lose sometimes it's fun if we just have fun goofing. Like today I think I played a match where we were just getting ass raped. We won four matches and the other were 4 rounds, and the other team won 11 rounds. So we're like down by like 6, and it's like halftime. The team switched to the other side, and we're like, oh, fucking goofy ass shit. And it's like this. We switched to the counter terrorist side, and it's like, oh well, this is a terrorist sided map, so whatever. And we kind of just, in a way, take things less seriously, and we kicked their fucking asses so hard we ended up winning the entire game.
You know what's sad about this? We weren't even trying.
Yeah, but in a way we were trying, but from not taking it as seriously, not focusing so hard. Like, oh, we gotta win. You guys need to do
Right,
this. It's
right.
like, oh, who gives a shit? It's like, let's just buy autos and fucking that kind of give a shit. Who cares? And so we were doing it, and like we are just like that first half of the game, we're just getting our shit ripped, just fucking brutal. And it was kind of happening like at the beginning, but we like won the first match. It was like, oh, we won, and then the second one, we won again. It's like, oh, we're like goofing around, but we're still communicating. We're like, oh, they went B, you guys, and I was like, oh, I went A, so I have to run across the map. Like, oh, fucking. But they were doing good because like, oh, I killed a guy. It's like, I'm coming. And then I would run in and just start spraying like fucking up. In fact, there was a couple of kills I got that were such fucking bullshit. Where it's like I had the fucking like pump action shotgun, which is one of the cheapest guns in the entire game. Pump action shotgun. It does huge damage, but the spray is kind of ridiculous. So you can't like guarantee a kill with it. And I remember getting a kill with that fucking shotgun where my crosshair wasn't over them. They were like behind, they were like off to the side of the crosshair, but like I was moving and they were moving. And because of like the latency, the inherent lag of, inherent in any video game, I'd fired just wildly because I use that fucking shotgun quite a lot.
Shotguns have really big cones in those games, right?
They
Aren't
have
they
a big
like
cone, but I hit him dead center when he wasn't in my crosshair. I was like, what the fuck? This is bullshit. And then the next, I fire again at like near the next guy, but it wasn't on him, and it fucking blew his head off anyways. It's like, what the fuck? Even I was like, this is bullshit, even though I just got killed. And that was part of why we won. It was just ridiculous, and it was like fucking lag. That's just part of the game, though. Is like you almost have to predict the lag, not just where people will go, and not just where you're gonna fire, but also like the lag of it. Which again is these fucking robots who play. They either have the best computers and the best ping, or they just understand the lag so well that they know where their bullets are going to hit like half a second after they fire or some shit. It's just ridiculous. But and I still fucking play the game, and I'm gonna play it again tomorrow. And it's just, in fact, after the stream, I'm probably gonna fucking play it again. I'm gonna play it because I'm drunk, and I'm gonna be like, oh, this would be fun to play it while drunk, because it is fun while drunk.
drunk
Especially
gaming is great. I always thought a YouTube channel that was just drunk gaming.
especially against a bunch of other people, because I like playing single player games. I like the Symphony of the Night type games, the Castlevania, Metroidvania, that kind of shit, where I don't have to be like there's consequences that are real. But when you play against other people and you're teaming up with people like as friends, like temporary friends, fucking single serving friends, that kind of shit, it's so weird and different. It's like weirdly personal on such a short-term basis that it's fun on its own bizarre level. And that's why I guess I keep still playing fucking Counter-Strike Go.
Fuck.
Are you getting your ass kicked?
No, this is seriously one of the only 2 tasks remaining in the entire fucking game. I just can't focus on the game.
Well,
I can
yeah, I
never
guess
focus on the game
it doesn't
because I'm
help
not
that
playing
we're
the game I want to
podcasting.
play.
Yeah, it doesn't help that we're podcasting. Oh, fuck, I'm so worn out. I'm not going to have a fucking good time sleeping tonight. That's for damn sure. This call has been going on for 3 hours, so, yeah, it's probably good.
Yeah,
Good
should we
episode.
just wrap it up?
I think
here?
I've been talking like 99% of the time, too, because I've just been
Yeah,
blabbering.
again, because I have no ability.
Yeah,
to
that's
focus
true. We'll
on the
we should
game
look for another
or
game.
the
Do you
podcast.
I
still
was
have
coloring in the back too.
Oh, that's good. That's a good thing to do. I mean, that's one thing I've found out that apparently our podcast is a great thing for when like artists are drawing in the background, which is great. I like that a lot. That, like a Forge or you. You know what? I should try and find a way to contact Michael Poe. Just see if he'll fucking join us. I'm sure he would join us on one of these episodes. I want to talk to him sometime. But
Sure.
apparently our podcasts are just great entertainment for when artists want to draw like in the background and have something just wonderful and entertaining to listen to. I guess our podcasts are so good. They need us so bad. But I can imagine a podcast would be great for when you're just drawing or coloring and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do without you guys. It's
I don't know. I don't know what you would do either.
I don't know what a lot of people would do.
Yeah.
Clearly,
What the
they
fuck
don't.
would
They
you do?
don't know what they would do either.
What can you do? But yes, yeah, 3 hour show, and we were trying.
We could just podcast forever. We could just podcast
Yeah,
all
exactly.
day.
Just forever, especially when drunk. But fucking
I wish I had something
but
to play that
fucking-
I could focus on the podcast though.
what fucking yeah. Forge. We were trying to maybe podcast, but you didn't wake up, and like it was like getting late. And it's like that's just how we fucking sleep and wake up these days. Is that it's just random hours you can't even say. So we have
Forge
to.
just needs his own drunk cast
Yeah, but I know
bitching about fur
that
affinity.
he really would need to have us on there because
Talk
you know,
about furry
hey,
drama.
without us,
Yeah.
what's the fucking
You
point?
need someone to guide and wrangle him.
Exactly. Well, it's just a good show when it's like at least three people.
Yeah.
Um, I did ask Pleb, but I think she was just up late or something.
Again, though, I mean, I didn't get a chance to talk, so it's more like two people.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, some stuff happened, but yeah, we need to find a game that's like less intensive. That's the thing.
Fucking Zombie Panic would have fucking done it perfectly.
Yeah, or fucking
If I could have gotten it working, if I had the
when
time to actually experiment, figure out what was wrong, and move on.
these days, when I try and play games, I always try and find a game, if it's not CSGO, of course, I try and find a game that's like I could watch a movie off to the side at the same time. That's my ideal game, because then I can get two things done at once, and I can play a game. It's fun. I can watch a movie that, I could pause the game if I really want to, that kind of shit. It's nice.
That's 90% of how I played WoW for so long.
Oh yeah, World of Warcraft. I remember playing. I remember I downloaded some kind of monster and I fucking just played it in the background, like minimized. I didn't even watch it. I just had the audio going. I played World of Warcraft and fucking Stranglethorn. I was just like, grinding around, doing some stupid shit while I listened to these guys from Metallica whining about fucking they're in therapy
Writing
and
about
shit.
copyright.
Yes, and fucking like
The kids clearly don't need their money as much as Metallica needs their money.
yes. But
They
it's
put in
just
a lot of
like
work.
Ripping off the fucking kids.
I remember
Paying the hard-earned money.
ripping off these fucking kids. I remember doing that for like a couple movies, just like playing the audio, like alt tabbed, like minimized while I played World of Warcraft. It was weird because it was so pointless, but and like I also remember listening to a lot of music while playing World of Warcraft, especially like a full like several albums worth of the Zip Code Rapists, which is like not even music, it's like non-music, but it's
Is it
so
like
great.
noise metal?
No, not even that. It's like
You're giving too much credit to the zip code
yes.
Right.
rapists.
Yeah, the Zip Code Rapist. Well, if you've ever heard of Neil Hamburger, it was his musical band before he
Oh,
was Neil Hamburger, sort of.
okay.
It was him and one other guy. He was the singer and he couldn't sing. And the other guy
Well,
was
his
named.
name isn't Neil Hamburger, though.
Yeah,
I always assumed that wasn't his
yeah.
real name.
His name is Greg Turkington, and he's also on Cinema at the Cinema with Tim Heidecker, which is like just a web show that's on the Adult Swim YouTube channel.
Okay.
Where they pretend to review movies and they so don't. It's just and they fucking it's really popular because they're in like season 6 or 7. So it's just fucking bizarre because they give every movie a glowing review no matter how shitty it is. And
It's like clear that they haven't watched the movies. It's like this movie is perfect. I give it bags of popcorn and 2 sodas.
yeah, the reviews are their ratings are completely arbitrary and meaningless. So if they give something like 4 bags of popcorn or 5 bags of popcorn, it's pretty much the exact same rating. It just doesn't mean anything. Like, and they'll give it like a 2 sodas, which means nothing. They'll give it 5 sodas, which of course means even less. It's just fucking like it's the sodas don't even actually they're not part of the point system, as if there was a point system to their fucking dumbass reviews. But yeah, Greg Turkington's the other guy, and he was the singer sort of for the Zip Code Rapist. It was so obscure you can't really even find any of their songs on YouTube.
Hmm.
But yeah, they were like a fake band, and they were just fucking terrible intentionally. Um, it was just him and like a guitarist, and they would play. They would play for alcohol. They would just fucking get free drinks at fucking shitty ass bars or clubs or something, and play like
It
just
was almost
terrible
like a
covers.
parody of music.
Yeah, it
Well,
was a
kind of
parody
like
of music.
Anal
That's why I
Cunt.
loved it. Yeah, it was like Anal Cunt, except actually more like music than Anal Cunt. Yeah, Anal Cunt was more like noise metal punk shit, whereas opposed to the Zip Code Rapists was supposed to be like a band, but not really.
People banging instruments,
Well, it was
Slapping.
it
making
was
sound.
yeah, it was just like Greg Turkington was sing, and then the guitarist who was named John Singer
He would
would
sing,
just
which is more like yelling.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, John Singer would just play the guitar, and that was it. That was the whole thing. It was just like one guy with a guitar, an electric guitar, and an amp, and the other guy kind of yelling into a microphone these dumb lyrics. And they had a couple original songs that were just nonsense, and then they would do mostly covers of like fucking "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go" and fucking "Dancing in the Dark" and that kind of
Is
shit.
he dressed like Hamburger, or is he like
No,
going
they would just
hulking?
I don't know because it was like the early 90s, so there's like no video of them. I think John Singer would have like a long blonde curly wig, and that was kind of it. But they fucking I got think mostly got paid in drinks, so they would just have their drinks on the stage and just get drunk while they do stupid shit.
I think that's what he was doing most of the time, was basically just being drunk.
Yeah, they would just be drunk and just be goofy. But it was like if you listen to their live stuff, which their studio stuff is like some of it's not even it is like just blank fucking room tone shit with the occasional like I don't know if anyone remembers from VHS days where like 10 minutes before the fucking movie's trailers would start, not minutes, but like a minute before it would be like weird electronic tones that were supposed to mean something to computers.
Yeah.
They would play that in like a fucking 2 minute track of silence. 1 second of it would be like electronic tones for 1 second, and then it would just go back to silence. It was like room tone, so it's like clearly people were actually just sitting there. It was just fucking weird. But and so that was their studio shit. But most of the shit was live shit. Where I'm pretty sure I still have my fucking DBZ gay porn for children video on YouTube. If I fucking look it up on YouTube.
Perfect description of DBZ.
Perfect description.
Gay porn for children.
I don't fucking. I think I may have taken it down because it's all just gay guys react to gay porn. But I had it. I had this uploaded to fucking YouTube, and for the audio instead of the actual DBZ, I just used or it was a 20-minute video, and I used all audio from Zip Code Rapists, and I could fucking even send it like send file if I go into my Zip Code Rapists folder, which I still have. It would just be right at the end, wouldn't it? No, at the end is Journey. What the fuck? Where the fuck is it? It's just sorting them by date. Ugh.
The best part is even if the file gets corrupted, I'll still get the same effect.
Yeah, it's about the same thing. Oh, Riders on the Storm. Now this is a great. This this here is pretty much the pinnacle. This is what you will experience if you fucking listen to any of their live shit. Is Riders on the Storm. They do sort of a cover of the Doors' Riders on the Storm. It fucking doesn't go anywhere. It's not anything like the actual thing. It's really funny though, and
They
it's
start out and they sort of wander off.
yeah. It's he's talking about like fucking.
I have a can of corn.
I have a can of corn. It's from the Lucerne Corn Company. If you open it, you'll get salmonella and you'll die. Riders on the Storm. But this fucking, it's like still musical in the same way that like some fake bands these days, like if you listen to that Donkey Petters on the Low, which is like a fake rap song that fucking video game Donkey does, it's still like a funny or like a Mom Spaghetti, the Eminem parody version that just takes actual Eminem lyrics and just repeats Mom Spaghetti over and over again. It's like a real song, and like you can listen to it and that kind of shit. That's kind of what this is like, except it's so much
I
cheap.
would say it's kind of like how Neil Hamburger's a parody of stand-up comedy. Zip Code Rapists are a parody of like bands and
Yeah,
music.
where Neil Hamburger's like still funny and you still like listening to it, but at least supposing that you fucking actually like listening to it, which I do. And I remember listening to Zip Code Rapist, this kind of shit, for just hours while playing World of Warcraft. And boy, it really dulled the pain of playing World of Warcraft. I can tell you that. So that's the nature of That's kind of the last thing I remember from playing World of Warcraft was listening to a bunch of Zip Code Rapist songs while leveling up my stupid fucking Blood Elf.
I remember a lot of Aqua Teen Hunger Force in the background.
Oh, that would be perfect too.
Yeah,
That would be
they're really
excellent.
good background
Yes,
kind
they're
of
good
things.
background, they're good foreground. But if you've watched their episodes enough, they just become good
Well, I
background.
remember we also used to listen to fucking. Well, there was two movies in particular we listened to all the fucking time
I remember 3,
in the background. One of them was Fear
Casino.
and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Fear
Yeah.
and Loathing in Las
One
Vegas,
was The Big
Casino.
Lebowski.
Yeah, you know, 4 then. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, The Big Lebowski, Casino, and All the President's Men. I remember playing over and over again. All of them, excellent movies to the point where if you see them enough, there's so much detail. They're so dense. There's so much going on in every frame. But to the point where if you've seen them more than twice, you can just kind of let the audio play, and you kind of know how it's happening, and you also get a better sense of like how of what's happening in the movies too, because you're just paying attention to the audio, the dialogue, the descriptions of the things that are happening. Anyways,
I gotta seriously piss.
yeah,
Maybe we should go
right.
on and end this.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to wrap up anyways. So, it's another good show as usual. Our fucking shows are so good. I need to go for a walk. I want to go for a walk. Get myself a fucking.
Alright, I can turn this off right now.
Yeah, all right. So we'll wrap up and a good show, and we'll try and do another one soon.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good show.
Alright, hold on. It says I'm